This is the Discover Card Countdown to Green as we get ready to go racing.
Fans always wear their favorite colors when their team has an important date at home. And that's exactly what's on the calendar tonight. Only in NASCAR, there are 43 home teams. So these fans have come to Charlotte dressed in their best, guaranteed of a home team victory. The only question is, which home team will it be? The road to the Cup passes through home, where the winner can start bragging about Sunday on Saturday night. The faces, the places, the magic of the moment. This is the thrill of NASCAR, the highs and the lows of racing. Tonight, the bulbs are just for show. It's the stars that will light up the track. 10 men chasing the championship. An entire army racing for the win in a backyard brawl. Live from Charlotte, it's Saturday night. NBC Sports presents the NASCAR Nextel Cup Series from the Lowe's Motor Speedway just outside of Charlotte, North Carolina. The stars of NASCAR getting ready for 500 miles of action, and the green flag is just 18 minutes from now. Hi, everybody. The NBC Race family out on a Saturday night. I'm Bill Weber. The 10-race chase for the Cup hits the halfway mark with race number 5 at a track that just might remind you of your mother-in-law. You work so hard to make it like you, and just when you think you're about to win it over, it turns on you and slaps you right into the wall. Take a look at the championship standings heading into this race. The 10 drivers eligible for the Nextel Cup separated by 257 points. The maximum amount of points that can be gained in any race is 156. That means any of the top 5 drivers could leave here as the championship leader. We start with the current leader. Here's Dave Burns.
Kurt Busch's team has shown both speed and consistency with a win and 2 top 5s in the first 4 races of the chase. And Kurt, you're not planning on anything less tonight, are you?
We have the best car that we can possibly have, even with this right side chafed up a little bit. We were just trying different things in practice yesterday and roughed it up, but we just still have to continue to apply pressure. This is the midpoint of our playoffs, and right now we're in a good spot. We're leading.
The number 97 starts 21st tonight. To Matt Yoakum.
Dave Earnhardt Jr. couldn't pick a better time of day to make a strong run of Busch than at night. In the last 14 Nextel Cup night races, 11 times he has finished in the top 10, Junior. So how about tonight? Same car you scored a big top 10 last week.
Yeah, this is a good car. It's been good this weekend. We didn't really qualify that well, but we worked on race stuff a lot, and it drives really good. So, you know, Charlotte's a place that even if you got a great car, it's just a place that can bite you, so you got to be careful. Hopefully we'll have a lot of good luck tonight and be up front toward the end.
He starts 25th tonight to Marty Snyder.
Matt, here in May, Jeff Gordon said he was embarrassed by his 30th place finish at what has traditionally been one of his better racetracks. So, Jeff, is the car better this time around?
Well, the car was great. We unloaded, you know, and we're third when we qualified last time here and started the race. Is great, and something happened to that car. That car was not that bad because we couldn't fix it. So this is the same car, and it's definitely a much better car than where we're starting here. I'm not sure if we're as good as some guys that were running fast in practice, but conditions are cool. It's going to be interesting with the rubber from last night's race. Hopefully it's DuPont Chevrolet drive to the front. We'll see what we've got for him here in a few minutes.
Jeff Gordon in the 24 car start 23rd tonight. Bill?
Thanks, Marty. Should be a lot of fun to watch. 150,000 fans expected on a cold night in Charlotte. Temperature heading toward a low of 40 degrees. Now, let's take you trackside and join the pre-race ceremonies at the Lowe's Motor Speedway.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, will you please rise and remove your hats as the United States Naval Weapons Station out of Charleston, South Carolina, present our nation's colors. To bring us a unique presentation of tonight's invocation, please welcome Warner Brothers recording artist Shannon Brown as she performs the Lord's Prayer.
Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. Amen.
Now, please welcome America's beloved tender, retired New York City police officer Daniel Rodriguez. Oh, say can you see by the dawn's early light what so broadly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
These players are ready for prime time, and so are the fans. There's no coin flip to see who gets the ball. Here, everybody starts on offense. The countdown is at 0, and the command from Charlotte is coming up next.
This has been the Discover Card Countdown to Green. Let's go racing.
NBC Sports is ready for a little Rocktoberfest in North Carolina. It's almost cold enough to play ice hockey. And I can assure you these cars will be skating all over the track. And on that note, it's time to set it upstairs where our first line has been reunited. Wally Dellenbach, Benny Parsons, and back from his recent trip, our answer to Wayne Gretzky, our buddy, Alan Bestwick. Welcome back.
Yeah, Gretzky, I'm not. Thanks, Bill. Great to be here, believe me. Let's talk about this race tonight. Something to watch for. The last 4 straight weeks, some of those 10 drivers contending for the Nextel Cup Championship have gotten in trouble. And Wally, you were on this racetrack last night. You know it's an easy place to find trouble.
Everybody wants to build a mile and a half just like Charlotte, but you know what? This place it's unbelievable because it's so bumpy. There's no place like Charlotte. This is a rough racetrack. It's very hard to get your tires into the racetrack. Very bumpy in 3 and 4. And you're driving side by side with other cars, and they're doing the same thing. They're sliding all over the racetrack. So yeah, this is a tough racetrack to get a hold of, and you can get in trouble here, BP.
As a matter of fact, you can get in trouble by yourself, as witnessed by Kurt Busch in Happy Hour, the last practice session. Yesterday evening, comes off turn 4, runs in the wall. Last night, the NASCAR Busch Series, Joe Nemechek, the winner last week in Kansas, trying to pass Casey Mears as the leader, loses control, backs in the wall. So trouble is all around this racetrack.
Something else you might look for later on tonight. The last 2 straight races here have featured very dramatic late lapse charges from well behind to win. We'll see if we get some more of those late lapse heroics as this night winds to a close. Great crowd on hand, a little bit chilly weather, good racing weather though, and let's go trackside to get this thing underway.
Race fans, it's time. Please welcome the Grand Marshals for this evening's event, winners of the prestigious 2004 J.D. Power and Associates Initial Quality Study Gold Plant Awards from GM's Lansing Grand River Assembly Plant, Mike Reinerth, Merle Truman, Chris Sherman, and Art Baker.
Gentlemen, start your engines!
So we'll go to Victory Lane and celebrate a win in the sport's hometown. And what twist will the championship story take tonight? We begin finding out next. You're watching NASCAR on NBC. NBC Sports at Lowe's Motor Speedway, Charlotte, North Carolina for 500 miles of NASCAR Nextel Cup Series racing. Cars will be rolling off onto the track in a moment for their parade and pace laps before we get the green flag. Budweiser, the official beer of NASCAR, proud to sponsor the Budweiser Pole Award, given to the fastest qualifier at each NASCAR Nextel Cup Series race. Ryan Newman, first driver ever to qualify at over 188 miles an hour here Thursday night, his 6th Bud Pole Award of the season. Budweiser congratulates Ryan Newman, the latest Budweiser Shootout eligible driver. Starting lineup for tonight's race. Ryan Newman, Casey Kane, row 1. Casey will be tough. Very quick car in final practice. And another Dodge inside of row 2. Casey Mears with the rookie Scott Riggs. Elliott Sadler, Michael Waltrip in row number 3. Michael finished second in the 600-mile race here in May. And in row 4, it's Kevin Harvick and Joe Nemechek, last weekend's winner at Kansas Speedway. Here we go, row 5 with Jimmie Johnson. Couple of wins in the last 3 races here, and Dave Blaney. Carl Edwards qualified that car for Roush Racing, ran the NASCAR Craftsman truck race in Fort Worth, Texas this afternoon, hasn't made it here yet. Blaney's the relief driver. He'll go to the back of the pack. Edwards will take over sometime tonight when he gets here.
Let's try talking to our pole sitter, Ryan Newman. And Ryan Newman, Benny Parsons, you got me?
Hey, Benny.
Ryan, you broke a track record in qualifying. Is the car that good in race trim?
The car was pretty good, Benny. We weren't exactly the fastest car in race trip, but I think we have a good long-run car. Definitely laid a good lap down on Thursday. Just want to send a little get well wish out to Christy, my wife's grandfather. He's in the body shop right now, and he could use a little help.
Well, Ryan, good luck to you tonight.
Thank you, Benny.
Ryan Newman will be tough to beat tonight.
Yes, he will. Boy, he was fast.
Jeff Gordon, way back in row number 12.
Way back. And Jamie McMurray back there will have to go to the rear of the field. He crashed a car in happy hour.
Earnhardt Jr., now he's pretty happy about that car. You talked to those guys, BP.
I talked to Junior. They're happy with the car, but starting way back.
Row 15, Ken Schrader, the veteran, along with Johnny Sauter.
Sterling Marlin is another guy that he gets around this place pretty good.
Yes, he does.
Starting way back there. Bobby Labonte. Ouch.
Man, we've got cars, good cars throughout
all over the
field.
place. Matt Kenseth, another guy that's going to run. He'll be up front before this thing's over.
Yeah, Kenseth, one of the 10 drivers competing for the NASCAR Nextel Cup Championship. Kyle Busch, one of the contenders for the NASCAR Busch Series Championship, getting warmed up for his Nextel Cup rookie season next year.
Check out our provisionals. Not even fast enough to qualify. Ricky Rudd, who finished second last week in Kansas. Scott Wimmer. And Ward Burton starting 43rd.
Former Daytona 500 winner. How about some 50-plus cars, 52 attempting to qualify for this race? Jamie McMurray and Dave Blaney going to the back. I talked about the Blaney situation. Carl Edwards qualified that car, and McMurray had a crash in final practice yesterday, and his team is in a backup car. He will go to the tail of the line for the start. Lap and a half from the green. Let's get some final stories from pit road. Matt Yoakum.
Alan, tonight Mark Martin makes his 40th career start here at the Lowe's Motor Speedway, and it could be one of the most important starts of his Nextel Cup career. He's 150 points out of first. The sentimental favorite going into the chase has only one top 5 finish in the last 4 races, but it came in the car that he starts 12th tonight. He has 4 wins here at Lowe's, and he knows he's got to make something happen, and happen fast tonight. Dave?
Matt, the last 2 weeks have not been kind to Jimmie Johnson. Failure to finish has left him 9th in the championship chase with only a mathematical chance at becoming champion. But redemption could come tonight at the track they dominated in May. I talked with crew chief Chad Knaus. and he believes they are very capable of completing the Lowe's Motor Speedway sweep. Marty?
Day's sixth-place man in the championship, Tony Stewart, is still in the championship ball game. He starts 15th tonight with a car they described as good. They've been trying to find a balance between being fast and being comfortable. They haven't really found it for Tony this weekend, but Greg Zipadelli told me before Tony got in the car, it's at least a top 10 car, maybe a top 5 car right now. It's the same car that won this race last year. Bill?
Marty, we cannot emphasize enough how much drivers want to win in Charlotte. The stands here packed with family and friends. The victory lane activities here can take forever because of one thing: pictures with everybody. And for the 10 guys in the chase, when it's over, 6 races from now, there's a good chance at least one of them will say, remember that night in Charlotte? That was the race that made all the difference. Alan?
You know, one thing, this is probably one of the toughest racetracks, I think, on a start of a race, because it is so bumpy, and if you're tight or your car is pushing here and you're on the outside, this is a tricky place to start a race.
So we're going to keep an eye on those guys in that outside lane in the first couple laps of the race.
And another thing is, on the restarts, the track is cool, the temperature's cool. We're going to see somebody is going to wheel spin on the start and restarts tonight. Saw it a couple times last night.
Find out BP's thoughts on tonight's race and much more on NASCAR at NBCSports.com. The latest topics in NASCAR today, we opine there. NBCSports.com.
Dale Jarrett got a long ways to go. Robbie Gordon, singular car. Bobby Labonte runs so well way back in the field.
Michael Waltrip finished second here in May, looking for a good race tonight. He starts in the 6th position. Better than 150,000 on hand. This is a very loud and vocal crowd here in racing's hometown, and the pace car is off. 334 laps to make up the 500 miles tonight, and we're under green in Charlotte.
Already, the 10 car, Scott Riggs, we got another car.
They're wrecking. Greg Biffle's in the wall. That's Kurt Busch, the championship leader, the blue and yellow car on the bottom of the racetrack. How much damage?
I don't think he got much damage out of that.
We're in it. Right front got damaged pretty bad.
He said the right front was damaged pretty bad. We see where the fender is bent a little bit.
That's not too bad. I think he's going to get in there and they can pop that right out.
It doesn't look as bad as his crash last night looked, and that is the same car that he wrecked in happy hour.
He's got a little damage right there in the valence. See on the left,
yeah,
underneath the front of the car right there.
Right
Circle
there.
that, BP.
Yeah.
That may be just some tape. That's real important to get downforce on the car.
Bill, you got some ideas for us on what happened?
Just that Riggs said something locked up on the car. It was basically stuck in first gear.
Would not shift to second gear.
A lot of damage to Greg.
Ouch. Tony Raines also involved. John Andretti involved. Scott Riggs, where it all started, who started on the outside of row 2 in the 10 car.
Yeah, man, that is just a tough break for Scott. He had a good starting spot. See, he's trying to get out of the way right there. Then everybody comes in, and the guys in the back are going fast, got nowhere to go, and they just jam up.
Was that Andretti that ran in the back? Yes, that was John Andretti, the 14 car. His first race with this team ran in the back of Biffle as Biffle tried to stop and avoid the 10. Oh, and Greg goes head on in the wall. There goes the 51 of Raines around, and that's where he got the damage to the right front on the 97.
Yeah.
The 51 and the 97 made contact as they were spinning.
All that damage to Greg Biffle's car, and they weren't even in fourth gear yet.
So he talked about a couple things a few minutes ago. People getting in trouble, championship contenders. Seen that with Kurt Busch already.
Up front of you, stay low as you can, stay as low as you can.
Oh man, more than that.
Yeah.
Dale Jr.
Up top, blowing up, wreck it. Stay low, stay low, stay low.
And hurry.
Bill.
And Jeff,
going to take a look at the 24 car, BP. You saw him too. Look, working on the right side, has a little bit of damage on that right rear quarter panel, banging it out with the mallets, trying to make sure it's okay. They don't seem too concerned about it, didn't sound too concerned about it on the radio. Matt, how about the 97?
Car Chief Mike Kelly and the crew going to work on the right front of Kurt Busch, the championship point leader. 29-point lead coming into Lowe's Motor Speedway. He thought he also might have had a right front flat tire as they're trying to pound out that sheet metal, fix that cosmetic damage.
Jeff Gordon's right rear damage is not going to hurt him bad here at Charlotte. But those front fenders are so important in a place like Charlotte. You've got to get those right.
And that's why that crew was just barely beating on that fender on the 97, trying to get back as good as it was before he started the race.
Because that's downforce. And if you hurt those front fenders, it robs you of the downforce. It robs you of pushing the front of that car down into the racetrack. And they did a good job on that. Bill.
Wally, the 24 also has some damage to the nose. The screen in front of the radiator pushed in, so we'll have to watch for that on the 24 as well. So he has rear damage and also damage to the nose of that car.
Yeah, I think where that is, though, Bill, I don't think that'll hurt him. It's those corners. It's right around the tires. That's where it's really important not to have the damage.
So a couple of the 10 drivers contending for the Nextel Cup Championship involved in a wreck. Turn 1, lap 1. Didn't even get their races hardly underway here in Charlotte.
NBC's coverage of NASCAR Nextel Cup racing from Lowe's Motor Speedway is brought to you by Lowe's, where you'll find all your home improvement needs. Lowe's, improving home improvement. By the Principal Financial Group, we understand what you're working for. By Prilosec OTC, 1 pill a day, 24 hours, 0 heartburn. And by Napa Auto Parts. Napa, get the good stuff.
Under caution here at Charlotte. Gives us a minute to tell you our NASCAR Busch Series update. Mike Bliss made a 3-wide pass on 2 of the best in the business, Matt Kenseth and Jimmie Johnson, with 18 laps to go last night for his first ever Busch Series win in the sports hometown.
A fantastic move off turn 4.
Championship standings, 5 races to go. Martin Truex Jr., the New Jerseyan, leading Kyle Busch. Todd Bodine.
How about that Todd Bodine? 2nd race in a row he wins.
Doing all right in that deal.
Yes.
Craftsman Truck Series at Fort Worth, Texas today. Bobby Hamilton leads their championship as their season winds toward a conclusion. They race in Martinsville, Virginia next Saturday. Continuing to work on Kurt Busch's car under the caution, Matty.
Kurt Busch, average finish 4.3 in the 4 chase races. Hasn't used a mulligan yet, hoping not to use one. Going to work on the valence on the left front corner. They're also going to top off the 97, but these guys have now dodged 2 big bullets, Bill, this weekend.
Boy, no kidding, Matt. And this car for Jeff Gordon and this track just do not get along. The same car that finished 30th here in May, involved in this first lap crash. Now they're working on the nose. They have the time here. The field getting the 1 to go this time by. So they have the time to work on it, try and make any repairs they can to make sure they can get air to the radiator and make sure the nose is aerodynamically fixed so it does not affect the handling of this race car. Looks like it did a pretty good job.
Jeff Gordon ran in the back of the 97 car. That's where he got the damage from, Bill. On board with Michael Waltrip. And watch the 10 car. Watch the smoke out the tailpipe on the right side. That's when it doesn't shift.
Still outside.
Good job. Michael did a great job avoiding Scott Riggs on that deal.
Here's a helicopter shot. And in here, back here's a white car, sorry. That is going to be hit by Jeff Gordon. There we see Gordon going in. We see Gordon running in the back of the 97 car, and the 51 of Tony Raines is outside of Jeff. That's where they make contact, and Rain goes around. And Junior on the bottom of the racetrack sneaks through, and Sterling Marlin, we saw that onboard camera on that Palisade car. Man, he just missed it.
It's a game of inches, isn't it?
I'm telling you.
Marty is with Greg Biffle.
In the garage area trying to get his car fixed. Just got to see the replay. What was your take on that, Greg?
Well, I just got looked like I got wrecked from behind. It hardly showed on TV where it looked like I got hit, but they're working on the back of the car, so something happened back there. But it's tough, people a little over anxious on the start of the race, and maybe looked like the 14 car a little over anxious. First time he's been back in a car in a little while, so maybe he just wasn't cautious enough there going into turn 1. I don't know. It's tough. These guys are working really hard, and we'll try and get back out there and salvage some points.
And as you saw, a lot of front end damage as well. This one's tough to stomach when you spend the time to come here and test, pick this car. A lot of effort into this race for it only to last less than one lap.
I think when he sees that replays again, that was not John Andretti's fault. That was somebody having mechanical failure of Scott Riggs, and that just boxed everybody up.
Yeah, be one of those on further review. So on the restart after a caution flag, it's a single file restart because there are no cars a lap down at this point. So maybe there'll be a little less chaos in these opening corners.
Don't count on that.
Tony Stewart, the 20 car, tried to get on the inside of Rusty Wallace, could not quite make it. Meanwhile, the battle for second spot.
Watch these cars bounce.
Oh, got one in the wall. Jeff Fuller. Caution flag is out.
Again?
Again.
Man.
I think we're going to see a few of the guys in the wall tonight. I'm telling you what, this place is very, it's a challenge to drive this race car. This racetrack, it's difficult. The cars really do not want to turn here. And the cooler it gets, the more grip in the racetrack, which makes the cars even push more. Looks like he got up in the wall.
So 2 quick caution flags in the opening 8 laps of this race. Little halting start tonight here in Charlotte. Some 1,200 lighting fixtures beamed out on Lowe's Motor Speedway Charlotte, where the NASCAR Nextel Cup Series is attempting to get the UAW GM Quality 500 going. Hey, there's an idea.
Very nice. Thank you very much, Alan.
Cue the duck. Our Aflac NASCAR Nextel Cup Trivia Quiz. The only championship contender of the 10 drivers in the chase for the Nextel Cup without a top 10 finish to his credit at this racetrack. Who do you think?
Only driver, Kurt Busch.
Very good. We have a winner.
There we go.
Kurt Busch.
And guess what? He thought of his bad luck on that first lap. Trust me, when he was going for the spin cycle down in turn 1.
11th place is his best finish here at Lowe's Motor Speedway. Bill?
Alan, always an advantage to have teammates on the racetrack at any race you might be in. This is Matt Kenseth's radio. His teammate is Kurt Busch. Here is their conversation under caution.
Hey, Jimmy, is this your channel? It's Matt. 10-4, go ahead, Matt. Hey, the fender's caved in front of the tire about an inch and a half. Just the fender tucking the right front. It is not going to rub, I don't believe. Above the tire looks okay. It's all in front, but you're probably going to want to get it pulled out.
That's Matt Kenseth talking to Jimmie Fenning, the crew chief for Kurt Busch. They are teammates for Roush Racing, and they are both contenders in the chase for the Cup. How about that?
Mm-hmm. You know, but that happens with, although it happens with teammates, Bill, that happens with anything. I mean, if you bounce off a guy in any race or anything, they will, you know, you call up your spotter and you say, whoever you're running at, can you check so-and-so to check my car to see if it's okay? So everybody's taking care of each other on this racetrack.
Ryan Newman is the leader as we continue to work the cleanup. Casey Mears second, Elliott Sadler third, Casey Kane fourth, and Kevin Harvick fifth. And what little racing we've had so far tonight.
We've had about 1 lap total.
Just a couple, yeah. Talk about the difficulty of this racetrack, and now the challenge for Kurt Busch and company. They've been in a wreck in the opening laps. They're going to be at the back of the field. Now they've got to kind of regroup mentally and calm down and go about the process of getting back to the front. They've got the night still to get it done.
Yeah, I don't think those guys are too worried. I mean, if you've got a good race car, you know, that helps your confidence, and they have a good race car.
Matt Kenseth, did he start 37th or something here in the 600 and finish in the top 5? So this is doable.
Wednesday, NBC, the season premiere of The West Wing. And big changes are coming. Don't miss the season premiere of The West Wing as Alan Alda and Jimmy Smits join the cast Wednesday, 9/8 Central on NBC.
That looked like a race car there. A race or something with all those cars going airborne and everything else.
Like here.
Yeah, I like it.
All right, let's see if we can get this thing back up to full speed again.
So Greg Sachs pull off into the garage here in the 13 car. Looks like he's nice.
Yeah, Jeff Fuller's behind the wall after the crash there a minute ago. Scott Riggs, Tony Raines, and Greg Biffle all having damage repaired from the turn 1, lap 1 problem.
Casey Kane, the 9.
I just didn't want to say anything until I got through those first couple of corners one time.
And that is Casey Kane in the white and blue car running in the 4th position. A new paint job or a different paint job here at the Lowe's Speedway.
And we get through tonight without making any mistakes on cars. It'd be amazing.
Here's second place. That's Elliott Sadler in the 38 car diving down low underneath Casey Mears. Sadler in yesterday's final practice very pleased with the performance of this car. Marty, it's showing strong in these few laps of racing we've had.
And Elliott is so confident in this race car, Alan. He said this car works better than any car he's ever had. It's into the racetrack. And he described it, maybe while you can explain this a little bit, that all 4 tires are working together better than any car he's ever driven. It's a brand new car. They measured the Texas winning car, the California winning car, and made this one, and it's awfully good. Never saw the racetrack until Thursday.
Yeah, that's what you're trying to do here, is get all 4 in. Everybody feels like they're running on their right front or the right rear on this racetrack. But if you can get the left side tires working on this racetrack where they feel like they're gripping, you're going to have a very, very comfortable car to drive here at Lowe's Speedway, because that's what you got to have. Got to have those left sides in the racetrack.
First race for position, that's Bobby Hamlin Jr. in the 32, the bright orange tie bride. And Rusty Wallace, the former champion, trying to track him down. Tony Stewart in the 20 right behind them.
Bobby Hamilton Jr. looks like he's a little bit tight getting into the corner. If that's the case, he will get past eventually.
Matt, how about Tony Stewart?
BP during the final practice session, Tony was complaining about a beep on his radio, but no one else on the team heard it. Under the last caution, he said to his spotter, Mark Robertson, if this radio goes out again, what are the signals for tight and loose? Mark said, hit the roof if it's tight, hit the door if it's loose.
Yeah, but you can't do that anymore. It's hard to get your hand on the roof and on the, I guess you could put your fingers on the door, but the way these seats are, it's not like, you know, you could put your arm out the door or out the window.
A little contact there between the 31 and 20. And we know there's not a lot of love lost there, so you know that 31 car, Robbie Gordon wants to get by that 20 as bad as any car on the racetrack.
It's going to be for 13th place.
And there's Junior, the 8 car. Different paint job this weekend as he tries to work his way towards the front. What's Junior saying, Dave?
Well, Benny, does this car look any different than the car that started out this weekend? It had a red nose when it started here, and there was a little mix-up in what the paint scheme was supposed to be this weekend. So it was supposed to be this World Series scheme, and the guys worked for 3 hours last night after happy hour. The only thing that remained from the original colors was the 8, and they changed all the graphics on this car for the World Series scheme tonight.
We're on board, Dale Jr., and you see how rough this place is. Watch Robbie's car right there in front. He slides up the racetrack. That's what happens. The cars, when they hit the bump, they just four-wheel slide up the track. Opens the door for Dale Jr. See if he can complete the pass.
If you want something to watch for when the cars are coming down the backstretch and into turn 3, watch the tires in relation to the fender wells.
Yeah.
They look like they're on pogo sticks sometimes.
And that's how it feels.
So Junior makes the pass, gets by Robbie Gordon. Oh, here we go. Jimmie Johnson has that 48 car going towards the front as he goes by Mears. Bill?
Flying toward the front, Benny, having a great run here, going for the sweep and looking strong early. You talk about guys bringing new cars and cars they've tested and all their new stuff they want to get to the track. This is the car that Jimmie has run in every points-paying Nextel Cup race he has been in at the Lowe's Motor Speedway. They've had tremendous success here. It went to victory lane, and now they're trying to do it again. Started 9th and moving in the right direction.
Casey Mears' car looks like it may be a little bit tighter. It's getting a little bit tight. Looks like he's having a hard time turning that car.
At second place changes hands. Casey Kane in the 9 is by Elliott Sadler.
Casey Kane, the 9 car. We know how he loves that high groove. He moved to the top of the racetrack in 3 and 4, and he flew through that corner, just flew through it.
While you're watching the scoring ticker come by on the top of the screen, the drivers whose names are highlighted in the Nextel yellow, those are the 10 drivers competing for the championship.
And you're right, BP, that car's got a lot of grip on the high side, so he is, boy, he is catching and going to pass Ryan Newman here very quick.
Here's Kurt Busch, your championship leader. We got one in trouble. Oh, Brian Biggers, look at that.
Wow.
That's sliding right across the start-finish line.
That's coming off turn 4, and somebody did clear him, or he thought he was clearing some contact in the rear, probably.
Sorry, guys. I should have just spun it out. Sorry about that.
He tried to save it. Yeah, tried to save it.
You get one shot at saving these cars. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When it gets away, you get one shot, and if it hooks and goes the other way and you still try to save it,
big trouble.
See, you heard Brian talking to his crew. You see him there unhooking the safety equipment. Third caution of the race is out. Nasty crash.
And let's see if we can see what might have happened to the 25. He's trying to go by Robbie Gordon in 31.
And he's pushing. He pushed. He slid up the racetrack. He pushed into Robbie. And there we were just talking about it. You get one shot at saving these race cars. So, wow.
Oh, man. West wing all over again.
Yeah, I'm telling you what, that was a shot. But that's what happened. He just lost a nose. And this is a racetrack, too, where you'll get aero tight around other race cars.
This is at full speed. Watch this.
Oh, man. What we call a tank slapper.
And Kurt Busch going through all that debris.
Bobby Labonte's view.
Careful.
He ran over a lot of debris.
He sure did.
Got a driver change?
Under the caution, Matt.
Carl Edwards finished 9th at the truck race at Texas. Flew here, landed during the first caution. Quickly put his fire suit on, the Hans device, the helmet. Couldn't get here in time to get inside that race car into the last caution. He was sitting patiently on top of that pit box as Dave Blaney was running in the 29th position. He is set to go now.
Oh, that was good. They didn't lose a lap.
And the pace car wisely is taking the field down pit road while the work is going on the front stretch to clean up all the debris. Smart move.
And because they're using the pit road to bring the cars through, the pit stalls are actually closed. So there should be no pit stops here. We'll take a break and come back to Charlotte in a minute. Back live at Lowe's Motor Speedway, Charlotte, you see the safer barrier, the steel and foam energy reduction barrier that's in front of the old concrete walls here. That's where Brian Vickers hit, and he has done a little bit of damage to that safer barrier that officials are out there attempting to repair quickly.
You know, in auto racing, we use the term a great deal. He knocked the wall down. Well, guess what? He literally knocked the wall down.
Check out the impact for Brian Vickers.
See, Brian gets underneath Robbie Gordon. Tries to save it. It's what we call a tank slapper. And I mean, just slam that wall.
I can see why he hurt the fence.
So pit road is closed while they pick up all the damage and run the cars through there to allow these workers to repair the safer barrier. So we'll take a break. Come back to Charlotte in a minute.
Stay low, stay low.
The chase continues after a brief pause.
Chase slowly continues.
Cars are stopped on the back straightaway. The red flag has been displayed by NASCAR while the safer barrier along the front straightaway is repaired from where Brian Vickers impacted it moments ago. This would be the third caution period of the race and first red flag after 27 of 334 scheduled circuits. There you see the field all bunched up behind the pace car. NASCAR calling out from race control for pace car driver Brett Bodine to just hold them up.
And you wonder why they park that way, because when they restart the race, if the car doesn't start, they just let the car roll down the hill, let the clutch out and start it that way.
There are equipment and materials and people in place to make these repairs, so it's not going to be a lengthy delay. You see they had the people in the welding trucks and so on hand, so it shouldn't be that long. And while we wait them to finish the repairs and get the race back underway, let's hear from the driver who was just in the accident with Marty.
And that's Brian Vickers. First of all, you all right?
Yeah, I'm fine. Yeah, it's just, man, it's just been, it's definitely been a learning year, but it's been a couple of bad weeks here. We've, you know, I hate that happen. We were racing the 31 and coming off turn 4. I was already tight. I was real tight behind him, and a couple of times he kind of chopped me off and was blocking a little bit, and I guess that's racing. And coming off of turn 4, we just got together. I don't know. I haven't seen the replay yet if he came down a little bit. Or anyway, we touched his left rear, kind of got in my right front, and the car snapped. And I probably should have just spun it out if I had to do it all over again. I guess hindsight's 20/20. But I want to thank Jim AC and Diatech.com, all the people, all the support this year. It's really been a lot, and the guys, I hate it for the guys. They had a great car, but I think we're going to be good tonight, but it's just part of it. You know, next time maybe I should have spun it out, went to the grass instead of trying to save it.
We're just glad to see that you're okay. Matt?
Jimmie Finnick, we're only 27 laps in. You've dodged 2 big bullets this weekend so far.
I'll tell you, you know, people don't realize how cold it is out there, and they got to give these tires a little heat to get them going. You know, got to be patient out there at the start. But yeah, fortunately, yesterday in practice, we lost air on the nose of the car and brushed the wall. And today we spun, and luckily nobody collected us. But this Irwin Ford Taurus is going to come to the front tonight. We have faith in it.
What's Kurt saying about the car now after the cosmetic damage was repaired?
It's just a little bit tight. But we tightened up to start this race because we didn't want to have no problems with it, and it's a long ways to go, so we'll start adjusting on it.
He's running in the 26th position. Bill?
Down here with Robbie Loomis, crew chief for Jeff Gordon, actually on the radio talking about explaining to Jeff what happened to Brian Vickers. Robbie, how about your car? You were involved in that caution on lap 1.
Yeah, the DuPont Chevrolet, we got pretty fortunate down there, and I guess Biffle, somebody lost it in the crowd there. But the guys got it fixed up. The DuPont race team doing a great job, and right now our biggest concern has been temperature and making sure it doesn't run hot.
So the nose, you think it's going to be okay?
Yeah, it looks like we got that fixed up real well, and the guys got the back end fixed up. You know, somebody got in the back of us back there, and they all stacked up down there. So we just need some track position. I think the DuPont Chevrolet is running pretty well.
Okay, we'll be watching. We were both listening to Jeff, who was talking on the radio while we were doing that.
Bill, Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s crew this weekend didn't spend a lot of time working on qualifying setup. That's why they started 25th tonight. But they were fairly certain that their race setup would be very, very good. They run into some trouble early on, and here's Jr. talking about it under caution.
Car really drives good. It's just rough in the front. Bounces real bad across the bumps. It feels like it's just totally no suspension there. It's just solid. It's just, I mean, it's really hard to even focus. It hits the ground and jerks around so much, it's really hard to focus your eyes on the track.
Junior followed up with the crew saying, I don't really want to do much to it right now because I don't want to upset the balance handling-wise, but it's something for us to think about. Alan?
So there's Dale Jr. sitting under the red flag in 13th position. McDonald's Drive-Thru Pit Crew Championship, fueled by Powerade, rewards the team among participating crews whose car spends the least amount of time on pit road in each race. And last week at Kansas, it was Elliott Sadler's team. That weekly victory pushed them back to the top of the season-long standings for the $200,000 top prize. Under the red flag in the UAW GM Quality 500 at Lowe's Motor Speedway Charlotte after Brian Vickers slapped the safer barrier hard just shy of the start-finish line. He's okay, making repairs to the retaining wall.
NBC's coverage of NASCAR Nextel Cup racing from Lowe's Motor Speedway is brought to you by Nextel Coast-to-Coast Walkie-Talkie. Nextel, done. By Wrangler, makers of Wrangler 5-Star Relaxed Fit Premium Quality Denim. By Budweiser, it's time for a fresh one. Grab a Budweiser, the race is on. And by Aflac, ask about it at work.
Oh, the fans are revved up for some NASCAR action tonight here in Charlotte. Hopefully they'll get to see the resumption here in just moments. Word we're getting from NASCAR is it should be just a few more minutes before that barrier is repaired and the field will roll again. Meantime, we'll check our Wendy's race menu. Next week, slamming and bamming, banging and bumping. Final short track race of the season in Martinsville, Virginia.
On a brand new surface, they put down new concrete, and the guys are telling me it's awfully fast at Martinsville now.
Then the high-speed mile and a half in Atlanta on Halloween Sunday. Phoenix, the Desert Mile, November 7th. The final Southern 500 in Darlington, November 14th. All that leading up to the season finale championship deciding race at Homestead Miami Speedway on the 21st of November. That's the Wendy's race menu as we continue on the chase for the Nextel Cup. Here's how they run now as they sit on the racetrack. Of course, Kurt Busch losing his track position after the early accident.
Kurt Busch will probably gain some points before this is over, but right now, Junior would be the man in front.
All right, let's check down on pit road. Crews will be going to work there pretty soon, Bill.
That's right, Alan. I'm with Chad Knaus, crew chief for Jimmie Johnson, fresh from a big run in the Busch race last night. Moving forward with a car that's basically old reliable for you.
Yeah, for the most part. We've actually ran this race car. It's 4859 in every points event here at Lowe's Motor Speedway. It's been a really good, reliable car for us. Won a couple of races here, so moving towards the front, maybe we can get back up there again.
Do you care to tell us what your pit strategy during this stop might be, sir?
Absolutely not.
Wouldn't expect anything else, but the car's good, huh?
Yeah, we're pretty good right now. We're pretty happy with it. The 9's going to be real fast tonight, so is the 6 and a couple of the other guys, but I think the slow Chevrolet is going to find its way around here pretty good tonight.
Okay, and we could see a variety of pit strategies when the guys come down pit road. Marty!
See if I can pry some out of Todd Parrott. So, first of all, how's the race car?
The cars look pretty good, not too bad. Just complained about it being a little bit tight in the center and a little free off, but right now I'm more worried about that tight in the center. And so when he cut the water off over there, it shot some water out, and I heard Jimmie Johnson say on the radio, it sounded like looked like glaciers going off over here on the backstretch, water shooting everywhere. So we'll get this combos M&M Ford Taurus tuned up here, make a pit stop, try to figure out where we're going to put 2 tires, 4 tires, no tires, what we're going to do, and go from there.
So as a crew chief, what do you worry about under the red flag?
I guess going to get some combos right now, probably a good thing.
That's a very good sponsor plug for you guys. Yeah, pit strategy should be key, Matt.
Marty, during final practice Friday night, Mark Martin said the guy he was worried most about, Casey Kane, sitting in the second position. Tommy Baldwin, that's your car. What's your driver saying about it?
Basically, he just came out of radio after that short little run there and said the Dodge dealers, UAW Dodge, was exactly.
That sounds like coaching from somebody down here in the end.
Yeah, he told me to throw that in a little bit, gain some bonus points with the Dodge dealers, but you know, car was pretty much the same balance as it was the end of happy hour, and we were really happy after happy hour. You know, the conditions from last night's happy hour were real close to tonight versus, you know, the May race and, you know, practicing in the sun and racing in at night. But, you know, I think we're all right. We just, you know, just caught in the middle of a fuel run here, so a lot of guys are going to be taking 2 on. You know, we'll probably put 4 on, lose some track position here.
Real quick, looking at your weather pager, what's it telling you?
It's getting colder by the minute.
And you can feel it. Dave?
With Matt Borland now, crew chief for Ryan Newman. Does the phrase, your car looks fast standing still, apply here? We haven't had much green tonight, have we?
No, we haven't, but the car's okay. It's running pretty good, but I think Kane's going to be a factor all night, so we're going to see what we can do to try and catch up to him and hopefully bring this thing home in a good position.
Ryan mentioned over the radio that he was kind of surprised how fast Casey came up on him. Were you?
Not really. I mean, in practice, he was running like that, so we figured he'd be like that tonight, and he's going to put on a good show tonight, I think.
And when you pit, what would you like to do?
Well, we're not sure. We got to figure out what to do to catch Casey, but we'll do everything we can in here and give him good pit stops and see how we can do at the end of the night.
All right, that's Matt Borland, 12-car crew chief. Alan?
All right, you hear engines rumbling.
Yes.
The cars have been given the command to fire up.
And I guess pit road will be open first time by probably, so we'll see what they're going to do. Wilson cars change 2 tires.
Everything different, yeah.
Kurt Busch back in the 26th spot. Can he just fuel only or stay on the racetrack to gain some track position? Because there probably will be another caution, wouldn't you guess?
Yeah, I would think that would be a good move. It's just fuel only in the 97 car of Kurt Busch. Get him in front of these guys.
Sorry, well, what they'll wait to do is see if the field gets all rolled off and stays bunched up tightly together. If they're not all together, they'll keep pit road closed another lap. If they are, then they'll open it up. So we'll see.
So far,
it's not going to take long for the pace car to get to the opening of pit road, and there's still guys sitting still in the back straightaway. So they just want to make sure all those guys get going and they're all formed in the line before they come to that pit road opening. And pit road will be open. So after a 12-minute red flag, here we go to see who does what on their pit stops. If you're in the back, do you just take fuel only to try and get some track position up front? If you're up front and you take 4 tires, how far back are you going to be? Here we go, Bill.
Jimmie Johnson has the very first pit when you come off of turn 4. This is supposed to be 4 tires, fuel, and a slight air pressure adjustment because the car is just a little tight. Now they are going to make a wedge adjustment as well, but it should be a 4-tire stop for Johnson. Going to lose a lot of track position, Marty.
Billy heard Todd Parrott tell us he's more worried about the tight in the center for Elliott Sadler on the bottom of your screen in the blue car. They're going to pull a 1/4 spring rubber out of the left rear, 1/2 pound in the right rear tire, and only 2 tires, Matt.
Casey Kane said the car was the same as it ended final practice yesterday. Tommy Baldwin said that is good. No adjustments, just 4 tires for the 9, Dave.
Just a little air out of the right front tire for Ryan Newman. The run started out tight that time. He's off pit lane, 4 tires.
I think Jeremy Mayfield got fuel only, and he's going to be close to first off pit lane.
And Kurt Busch did take 4 tires. I was watching him on that stop. So
let's check. Elliott Sadler or Jeremy Mayfield? Who's it going to be? There it is.
38. Wow. By a landslide.
Then Jeremy, the 01 car of Nemechek.
These are rest guys took 4 tires.
Had a terrific.
Yes, the tape is still running. Yeah. There we go. Now the guys that got 4 tires.
There goes Nemechek by a lot of cars.
Little strategy played out. Want to work on a race car? It can be a dizzying experience. Hot but sweaty working conditions too. Green flag is in the air here at Lowe's Motor Speedway, Charlotte. Back underway with Elliott Sadler, the new race leader.
29 car Harvick down to the outside, goes by the 01 of Nemechek, and is trying to go by the 9 car of Casey Kane and Doug.
Casey Kane, Matt.
BP, you heard Jimmy Finnick talk about the cool temperatures, and that's exactly what Tommy Baldwin told Casey Kane. Take it very easy on those sticker tires until you get some heat in them.
I got you. So don't charge off down in the corner as hard as you can go. Back off a little bit early till the air pressure comes up, and then drive her down in the corner.
And don't wheel spin when they drop the green flag.
And check Harvick. He goes by the 19 car of Mayfield, goes into 3rd.
Mayfield falling from 2nd to 4th. 19 car fuel only on his pit stop. So he's on a little bit older tires than some of these guys that are going to come swarming around him here.
And I think a lot of them are going to come storming around because I think tires are a premium at this racetrack.
Bill?
That 19 car, Jeremy Mayfield, a vibration in final practice. Crew chief Kenny Francis told me late this afternoon they changed just about everything they thought could possibly be the problem, but they wouldn't know if it was fixed until they went out on the racetrack. No talk of any vibration. The car is fast, and Alan, as you pointed out, that was fuel only for the 19.
Dale Jr. making some progress after the restart, trying to pass his teammate Michael Waltrip for 8th place.
Blue car is Casey Mears of 41. Kenseth on the inside in the 17 car trying to get by in the yellow car.
Got a whole swarm of them here.
Yeah,
they do.
Earnhardt Jr.'s car looked real good on the bottom of the racetrack right there.
Here's Rusty Wallace trying to get underneath Michael Waltrip. Wallace in the 2. And that'd be for 9th place.
Mark Martin down there. There goes Tony Stewart, and Tony's been working the high side the last since the restart. He's passed 2 or 3 cars up on the high side, which is unusual for Tony.
Tony Stewart been on the outside is a story. Junior goes by Mayfield, gets another spot. That is what, 7th position?
Yes, sir.
I think Jeremy's going to be wishing he took tires because
look out! Look
he's
out,
sliding all over the racetrack right now.
Michael Waltrip's probably wishing Mayfield took tires there too.
Yeah, yeah, because Michael had to back out of it. And who's that up on him right now?
Casey Mears.
Casey Mears.
Got to go around the outside. New crew chief on this 15 car for Michael Waltrip here this weekend. Pete Rondu takes over for Slugger Labby.
There's Casey Mears, 41 car on the outside. Now he's been having a hard time up on the high side. Earlier, before pit stops, his car was a little bit tight, but it looks like it's pretty good right now.
Check Harvick out. Getting passed by Casey Kane, the 9 car, and Casey Kane did it on the inside. Bill, what's going on?
Hey, Benny, that 29 car, that team has struggled all year, wouldn't you say?
Yes, they have.
And you know how we always talk about attitude? You still have to have the right attitude? Well, I talked to Todd Barrier today. He said, we're still happy. We're still joking. We didn't have to hide all the sharp tools and instruments at the shop. We think this is a really good car. It's the car they finished 8th with at Indianapolis. His words to me this afternoon, about 2 hours before this race, we're going to be pretty good.
They are pretty good.
Kevin Harvick running in 4th place. He started in 7th. Kevin with only 4 top 5 finishes this entire season. Statistical backup of they've struggled. How about last week's winner, Marty?
Talk about a team with some momentum, Alan. 13-3 on the pit stop for Joe Nemechek, and that was a 4-tire stop car, just a little bit tight. They did go up on the track bar, and there's a battle for the lead.
Ryan Newman, the 12 car, fastest qualifier on Friday. On Thursday, actually, has caught the 38. I thought he was going to pass him off turn 4. Said, nah, okay, I'll wait a lap or so.
You don't hear a lot of aerotight stuff here, BP. You know that running here yourself. The cars like the free air. and you need all the air you can. Now, if you can get on the bottom of the 38 car, like he's trying right now, hopefully he can get enough downforce on the nose, but it's tough right there, side by side, off of turn 4, making a pass.
So we got one with an aero advantage, which is the leader, Elliott Sadler, but we got one with a tire advantage.
Right.
Because the Elliott Sadler only took right side tires on his stop. Marty?
And that's exactly right, Alan. That's what Elliott said when he left pit road. They thought everybody was going to take 2 tires, and they said, well, now we'll show everybody whether 2 tires or 4 tires is best tonight. Dave?
12th car of Ryan Newman as he goes to the high side now to look around the 38. Yesterday in final practice, they only got the longest run of 20 laps. They wanted to get about 30, but they had some issues that kept them from doing that. So they're not quite sure what it'll do on the longer run as we go into later tonight. Matt?
Dave, it didn't really matter what Newman or the 38 of Elliott Sadler were going to do on their stop. Tommy Baldwin was sticking to his original game plan, going with 4 sticker tires. They didn't make any adjustments on that race car. That car is really, really fast.
You can add 2 or 3 more really in that, Matt, because yes, the 9 car is going by the 12 and trying to chase down the 38, and it won't be but a lap or so.
And if you're new to NASCAR, the phrase sticker tires, when a tire comes out of the Goodyear trailers brand new, it has a sticker on it. So how you can tell a car's got a new tire when it rolls onto the racetrack, you see that sticker rolling around for a minute or so.
Man, he is fast. Casey Kahne is fast. He is fast through the center. That's where he's killing all these guys right now. It just goes through the center of the corner like a rocket.
But while it looks like that the advantage that all these cars have is up in 3 and 4, it seems like all the cars run about the same speed down through this corner, 1 and 2. But how you're set up in 3 and 4 determines on how fast you are.
So third leader on the night is Casey Kahne, the 24-year-old from Enumclaw, Washington. You know, in golf, they have that label best driver, best player to never have won a major. Casey's the best driver not to have won a race so far this season. He's finished second 4 times.
Rusty
5
Wallace,
times.
wow. Good move down on the bottom. Gonna make it stick.
Goes in the 7th spot. Now we see the red car at the very back of that. That is Jeremy Mayfield. Only changed 2 tires that stop, but now the advantage those other cars have has disappeared. He's about as fast as anyone now. Except his teammate tonight.
Yeah. 7th place. Now we'll look at the race for second. Ryan Newman going to try and regroup and put another charge on Elliott Sadler.
Sadler just pointed out the window. You saw his hand. Well, you didn't mean. I said I saw it. Said go ahead, take it down on the bottom. Dave.
There's a game that teams play in NASCAR racing with air pressures in their tires. They try to take them as low as they can while keeping the car safe. Lower means they get better grip. Matt Borland, crew chief for Ryan Newman, had this discussion with his driver moments ago.
Ryan, just looking at everything as far as the long run goes here, if Casey keeps doing what he was doing there earlier, we look like we're about 3 pounds high that we can take out, but we think we're about as low as we can get minimum-wise as far as durability. But as the night progresses here, if we think we want to squeak a little bit out, we can.
A little higher pressure, more durable. Things will last. You won't be in trouble, but less pressure, better grip, and they may have that. They will have that option if they need it later on.
And you know what, Dave? You learn those things as you go along. I mean, it takes a couple laps sometimes to learn that. Last night, my car was the best on the restarts, and we figured out, you know what? The reason that is because we got low tire pressures, and they probably found the same thing between the start of the race and now.
And Junior, the 8 car, going by Nemechek on the outside, goes into 5th to the delight of this crowd at the Lowe's Motor Speedway.
And a little farther back behind that, Mark Martin in 6, taking 13th place from Tony Stewart in the orange 20. A couple of drivers competing for the Nextel Cup Championship.
Woo, that's getting a guy loose right there. Tony Stewart right on the back bumper of Mark Martin. And you can hear Tony get out of the gas. He had to get out of the gas or he was going to run Mark over in the corners.
Gave him a little breathing there.
Gave him a little breathing.
Marty, what are they saying about the 6 car?
I would describe the progress as slow and steady. They were a little tight, BP, on that very first run. And you remember what he said, BP, after the happy hour yesterday?
Yes.
I asked him, can the car win? Mark said, absolutely. And then this morning I talked to him. He said, it's just okay. He said, we need to downplay it a little bit. The car is good, but I don't want to talk about it being that good because I don't want to be that cocky. I think the car is very good and it can win, but I don't want to talk about it.
Mark started 12th. And is running 13th at the moment. Now, talking about those two guys being among the championship contenders, how about the point leader, Kurt Busch?
Just moved into 17th.
Going towards the front.
Remember, Kurt went all the way to the back of the field after getting involved in a wreck. Turn 1, lap 1. Matt?
This was one of those racetracks where they had a big question mark. He's never finished better than 11th here at the Lowe's Motor Speedway. Dodged 2 bullets like we've documented earlier on the past run. He said the car was both tight and loose. They made some adjustments, but they also worked on that left front corner again, BP, trying to work on that valence.
Yeah, because when he spun down off the racetrack and hit the apron with the left front, that's when he damaged that left front fender that Matt was talking about. So keep working on trying to get it back the way it was.
And what you want to do is you want to try to seal the air. You want the nose right on the racetrack. That helps suck the nose down to the racetrack right there. There's a great shot of it right there. If you have a hole in the valence, it won't do that, and you won't have as much grip.
6th place, Rusty Wallace moving forward. Just took it from Joe Nemechek. The 2 car is on the move. Started back in 14th. There's your leader, Casey Kane. 14th in the championship standings. He can't win the title this year, but he can still accomplish his season's goals. Winning a race, finishing in the top 15 in points. He's out in front in Charlotte tonight.
Fans come from all over the Carolinas to the Lowe's Motor Speedway, but to be honest, they come from all over the country just to see this race because they know how important this is to every team to win in their own backyard. They also know how important it is in the chase for the Nextel Cup. Time to take you through the field here at the Lowe's Motor Speedway. We'll start with the leader, Casey Kane, and here's Matt.
Bill, 24-year-old Casey Kane started in the front row, and he is yarding the competition, chasing his first career win. No driver in tonight's race is more due than this 9 team. 4 of their 5 second-place finishes this year came in this car, Dave.
Driver Ryan Newman and crew chief Matt Borland are both engineers. They give a lot of feedback back and forth. By the time I give my next report, I'll have a full page of information on how the car has gone nearly every lap. Right now, just a little bit loose. Marty?
Dave, the 2-tire guinea pig, Elliott Sadler, is in the 3rd position. He's a 4th-place man in the championship, 143 points behind. In May, he finished 5th here. He told me this morning, I know we can do better than that tonight. We can even win. Dave?
Last week in Kansas, Dale Earnhardt Jr. had his 5th straight top 10. That ties a personal best for him. He called Kansas a problem track, so a finish of 9th made them very happy. Bill?
The 48 car of Jimmie Johnson, a good run so far. They took 4 tires on their stop. Johnson 9th in the chase for the Cup, desperately needs points. Getting married in the offseason, hoping for a really big December and January. Dave?
Rusty Wallace did something yesterday that he hardly ever does. His crew was shocked when he stopped practicing early in the final practice. 15 minutes to go, Rusty said, we've got it good. Let's park it. Bill?
Dave, Jeremy Mayfield took fuel only on his last stop. As we saw, he started slipping backwards. Now again, he's moving forward. This is a kid that used to paint signs at a short track in Kentucky. Now he's trying to make big news here at the Lowe's Motor Speedway. Behind him, the 17 of Matt Kenseth. His crew chief Robbie Reiser told me this afternoon pit stops will be big for his team. They haven't been the usual strong pit stops they've had recently. Well, their first one, just over 13 seconds. They picked up 4 spots, Marty.
Bill, we talked about the great pit stop for the 0-1 team. Last week's winner at Kansas, Joe Nemechek in the 9th position right now. His car's a little bit loose, and last week he won without his good luck charm. And it's here this week. That is Mom Martha sitting in the pits. Matt?
10 straight years we've had a first-time winner, but not one in 2004. Casey Mears would love to pull off the same feat his Ganassi teammate Jimmie McMurray did 2 years ago. Scores first win right here at Lowe's. Ran well back in May, finished 7th. The car was tight early. They freed him up, and he's going to the front.
There are the top 10 of 30 drivers that are on the lead lap as we approach the 100-mile mark of tonight's 500-mile race. A little bit of a halting start. 3 cautions in the first 24 laps. Now an extended green flag run. Continue to go through the field with 11th place Mark Martin. Marty?
Alan, if there's a sentimental favorite to win the first ever Nextel Cup, it is Mark Martin, and here he comes. He's in the 11th position. Car starts a little bit loose, gets better as he goes along. He has 6 races to make up 150 points. Dave?
Michael Waltrip started tonight right behind the 10 car of Scott Riggs. Remember that? When Scott missed the shift, Michael magically, in his own words, missed the accident. The car is working pretty well for Michael right now. Matt?
Dave, you can hear the confidence on the radio by the championship leader, Kurt Busch, who is in 13th. He told his team the right front is sticking very good. Said that back on lap 55. Crew chief Jimmy Finnick sounded very glad to hear that and said, thankfully, 10-4, Bill.
Matt, the 29 car of Kevin Harvick, disappointing finish at Kansas last week, 35th. Looking to rebound here tonight in that throwback paint scheme for Richard Childress Racing. He fell to 13th in the championship standings, but he believes they can get to 11th. That's worth $1 million, Marty.
And the man in 11th right now is Jamie McMurray, and Matt, his teammate, is in front of you on pit road.
Casey Mears working on his great top 10 run tonight. Came on the radio, said, I think I've got a flat tire. They're diagnosing it as a possible flat left rear tire. He's down and away. And Tony Stewart won here 1 year ago in the Home Depot car. Knows that he's got to make a strong push to keep himself in that title fight. 5 of his 19 career wins, Dave, came in the last 2 months of the season. He needs a win and needs it now.
This retro paint scheme honors Richard Childress Racing's first win with driver Ricky Rudd at Riverside in 1983. I asked this driver, Jeff Burton, what he was doing in '83. He said racing go-karts. I was also 16 years old, and that was the first year that I sat in a stock car and raced locally. Marty?
Let me pick it up on the 88, Dave. That's Dale Jarrett in the UPS Ford car. Was tight before the last stop. Dale says the car is not that bad right now. Trying to move forward in the field. Former series champion looking for a strong finish. And he is in that hunt for 11. Further down pit road to Matt.
And Robbie Gordon trying to get back into victory lane, a place he hasn't been in over a year. He's using the colors tonight that Dale Earnhardt had on his car at the Winston Select All-Star race back in 1995. It has not been a good night, Marty. The car had a vibration early. It's been both tight and loose.
Bucks at home, do not adjust the color on your television set. That is Sterling Marlin in a purple car. Indeed it is. With his old buddy, Tony Glover, back as crew chief this week. Car's pretty good. They started 31st. They're up to 19th. Car just a little bit tight. Bill?
That's rookie Kyle Busch in the 84 car. He's racing for the Busch Series Championship as well. Tonight, making a start of the Nextel Cup Series. Next season, a full-time ride in Nextel Cup for the Hendrick Motorsports operation, replacing Terry Labonte. Tonight, trying to get himself a solid top 10 finish. Now, let's check on some of the guys in the chase for the championship. That's Jeff Gordon in the same car that finished 30th here in May. Gordon right now running 30th, and here is why.
Big trouble here, guys. Bear pray for a caution. This thing's getting really bad.
Gordon has been talking about this car for many, many laps. It's not what they were looking for. Back upstairs.
BP, I think it's time to make that a show car.
Yeah, exactly. If he finished third, and he's already been lapped by Casey Kane.
And he's not, and he wouldn't even be the lucky dog if the yellow came out, because Casey Kane is lapping guys like crazy right now, all the way up to 25th.
In addition to Jeff Gordon, whoa, look at this. Matt Kenseth and Jimmie Johnson racing for position got tangled up there with the Scott River car, it looked like. Everybody got away okay, but Jimmie Johnson moves up to 6th place, and Kenseth slides back to 7th. Just past 100 miles in the UAW GM Quality 500, Casey Kane is the race leader. Ryan Newman 1.6 seconds behind him. NBC Sports at Lowe's Motor Speedway, Charlotte, with the NASCAR Nextel Cup Series. Under the green flag just past 100 miles, we check the Gillette Young Guns, how they're running tonight. The first micro-power shaving system from Gillette is new M3 Power. The new power behind the Gillette Young Guns.
We got trouble on the straightaway. Jeff Gordon.
Jeff Gordon.
Oh, and Rusty Wallace gets into him. Oh, Rusty was running so good.
Had a great run going. Rusty Wallace just passed Earnhardt for 5th position.
Here we got left rear damage here, guys.
Which of the championship contenders will have trouble tonight? Jeff Gordon.
Yeah, so far. Yeah, first one.
Bill? And we just heard him talking about it. That car was getting worse and worse. Now, he's got substantial damage, obviously, but that car was definitely deteriorating with every lap.
Right now, he's got at least 3 flat tires, it looks like to me. He's got to be careful limping that thing back around the pit road.
He was in bad shape to begin with. Unfortunately, Rusty was running really good. And he's got a lot of damage to the left front of his car.
And Rusty Wallace.
Left rear clear. West doing a gas leak.
Dave Burns coming to you.
Yeah, and Rusty said on the radio to his guys, man, we had a good car. I shouldn't have gone low. Tried to miss the wreck, of course.
Yeah, that's going to be something you can't fix. I mean, you know, they'll fix it, but that car's not going to be right.
He's got a radiator knocked out.
Yeah, he's got.
All right. What brought the fourth caution out?
Well, let's take a look. We're looking.
Just
yeah, he just got loose and lost it off of turn 4. And unfortunately, Rusty just had no place to go. Figured he could squeeze down on the low side, and Jeff Gordon swung back down to the low side.
See Junior going by in the 8 car. On board with Junior as he comes off the corner and sees the smoke, so he backs off.
Go low, Junior, go low.
You better go high.
Yeah.
Right there. Good job.
Steve Meal, the spotter. Bill Weber, coming to you.
Here's Matt Kenseth, 4 tires, fuel, slight air pressure adjustment because the car is just a tick tight. Nobody pits in front of them. They'll have an easy exit out of their stall. Marty.
Elliott Sadler said, I'm glad we took the 2 tires, got the 5 bonus points out of the way. Don't do that again. He is tight in the middle, quarter spring rubber out of the left rear, sideways off, pound out of both front rear tires, Matt.
And awesome performance tonight by Casey Kane. A slight air pressure adjustment, Dave, in the right rear. A great pace he's set so far.
Ryan Newman already gone. 4 tires, a wedge adjustment, and an air pressure adjustment. His car had gone a bit to the loose side. Alan?
Kane, Newman, Kenseth, Junior, and it looks like Sadler, the order they'll come off pit road. So caution out at lap 77 here at Lowe's Motor Speedway, Charlotte. Rusty Wallace has gone back to the garage.
Casey Kane got him out first. He leads at Lowe's. Let's meet the guys that did the work on pit road.
Tommy Baldwin, crew chief, Bellport, New York.
Scott Reiniger, front tire carrier, Statesville, North Carolina.
Nick Odell, front tire changer, Springfield, Illinois.
Todd Colburn, Jackman, Saline, Ohio.
Eric Wakeland, rear tire carrier, Plymouth, Indiana.
Joe Krushek, rear tire changer, Piers, Minnesota.
Rodney Rhodes, gas man, Hickory, Virginia.
Steve Lawrence, catch can, Long Island, New York.
Greg Miller, pit crew coach, Akron, Ohio.
Their driver Casey Kane brings the field down for the restart.
Sure got crowded on a restart, didn't it now?
Sure did.
Got all those cars a lap down now or more down on the bottom, so got to have your car working good, although you got to have it working good up on the high line, especially on the restart. You can lose a lot of positions.
If you're new to NASCAR, when you're a lap down to the race leader, you restart in the inside lane. It gives you an opportunity to try and get that lap back from the leader. But earlier, we didn't have any cars a lap down. No, we got a bunch. While Casey Kane tries to pull away from the field, Marty is with, I'm sure, a very disappointed Rusty Wallace.
Indeed, Alan. Boy, what a great race car you had. What happened?
I just had a great car. It was just a wonderful car. The thing was flying, man. And I just come off of turn 4 and just made a pass in some car and come off turn 4, and I looked up and I seen the guy spinning. Earl yelled, "Go low." I went low, and as soon as I went low, I guess it was Gordon. He hooked, flew across the racetrack, and it was unavoidable. Just I was sure he was going to go up high, start sliding up high. Instead of hooked, he flew across the bottom and killed a good car, man. This is one of the best cars I've had here at Charlotte. Just a crying shame this has happened. I never dreamed this. You hate to have something like this happen when you're this hooked up.
A lot of damage to the front of the 2 car. They'll get him back out, but it will not be a fun evening for Rusty Wallace.
Oh, here comes Junior.
Look at that.
Oh, right. Almost in the back of the 12 car.
Did he damage it?
No, he definitely got in the back of the 12 car, I think.
I'm just looking if he damaged his own right front fender there.
He may have.
So Dale Jr. to second. Man, let's see. Maybe it's clean.
He got awfully close. I think if he had hit him hard enough to damage the nose, he surely would have spun the 12 out.
So Junior to second and flying. Dale Earnhardt Jr. second, entering the race in the chase for the Nextel Cup. As they run now, he would be the championship leader at the end of the night, but we've got a long way to go. Dave?
Well, as you might expect, Junior told
told his crew what happened after that, and he did use the word accident. The spotter said the headlight might have a little damage, but actually it looks okay from up on top.
I don't think it's going to take him long to be the new leader.
Sure doesn't look that way. And the spotters that stand high on the grandstands high above the racetrack have binoculars. They can watch their car coming off the corner and see if there is any damage.
Boy, Junior's car's working right on the bottom. He's right on the white line. Good place to be here at Charlotte. Get your car to work like that all day.
When the tires get some laps on them, if he can still maintain that fast speed on the bottom. That's when Kasey Kahne made up his time. When the tires got a few laps on him, he moved to the top of the racetrack, just like Junior's doing up in the corner, and away he went.
You watch Junior at the wheel here. 1 and 2 is pretty smooth, so you won't see a whole lot of movement in the steering wheel in 1 and 2 other than him turning the wheel. But when he gets down into turn 3, now he's on pretty good tires too, so the car's going to handle a little bit better, but this is where it gets rough down in here. Right through here, the track is so rough and bumpy. Car looks pretty good there, though.
Sure does.
It's on, like I said, it's on fresher tires, so the car's going to handle that.
But don't burn yourself up, because he's been extremely fast, like a half a second faster than the field.
Feels like hitting a set of railroad tracks at about 45 going down into turn 3 here.
Just listening to the conversation with Junior and his car chief, Tony Uri Jr.
That's right, telling him, save your stuff. Don't abuse those tires trying to catch that 9 car because he is really, really fast. You're trying to outrun the rest of the field right now because the 9 car, as fast as he is, might be unbeatable.
I said, I asked you if I could get a lap. We'll see what we can work out there.
I don't think so. What Junior's
right next to his spotter, Jim. Hasn't got anywhere yet.
What Dale Jr. is talking about, if you're new to NASCAR, if you lead a lap during the race, any lap at all, you collect 5 bonus points toward the championship. He was kind of hoping for maybe a little courtesy, let me lead a lap from Kasey Kahne, but I don't know.
I think he's going to get that.
Hey, Matt, Kasey's not going to play that game, is he?
BP, they just want the W. He is out front and moving. Now, remember back the first part of the season when this team had so much success, all those second-place finishes, the one constant, the car would start off slow and then just get progressively better and better as the run would wear on. When the summertime hit, they were too good at the beginning of a run. Tommy Baldwin told me that's the one thing that he has worked with Kasey here in the fall, trying to get this car to be better at the end of the run, and they are slowly getting there, as you can tell, Dave.
When I talked to the crew about Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s car earlier today, they told me that they felt very good about their race setup. I think I mentioned that earlier. So I asked them what kind of magic wand they waved over. They said, you know what? We spent so much time here working on our race setup. We had 201 miles this weekend of race practice that we did on that 8 car. That's why we're so confident. Bill, what's happening with the 17?
Well, they're going around that 12 car. Ryan Newman, Matt Kenseth is, and I can tell you the car's good on the track. But one thing we are going to keep track of tonight, their pit stops. Robbie Reiser, as we talked about, was concerned about him. The last one under 13 seconds. So he's picking up spots on pit road and picking up spots on the racetrack, Dave.
The 12 car of Ryan Newman was loose when he came in for that pit stop, Bill. That's why he is going backwards right now. He radioed into his crew on lap 87, still too loose. Alan?
All right, so Newman back to 4th. And even though he's in 4th, he's 5 seconds behind leader Kasey Kahne. Now, just to follow up on Jeff Gordon, he is back on track after repairs on pit road. Never went to the garage, Bill. Unfortunately, he's back in 29th place.
Alan, this is a night race for everybody, but a nightmare for Jeff Gordon. Had to pit 3 times, extensive damage to the rear of the car. Robbie Loomis, his crew chief, told him, okay, you're repaired, you're good to go, but he's not going too far, too fast right now. Very disappointing night for the guy that came in 3rd in the chase for the Cup. Look at this mess.
Yeah, and it's been going on for the last few laps. We'll see Jimmie Johnson on the inside of Mark Martin. Johnson in 48, Mark Martin in 6th. Marty, is Mark going forwards or backwards?
Mark's trying to go forward, but he's very upset with the 43 car of Jeff Green. He keeps saying, talk to him, talk to him. Doesn't he know that we're racing for a championship? The 48 is as well. Mark's car a little bit loose right now, Bill.
Marty did a lot of work work on that 48 car. Jimmie Johnson took a spring rubber out of the rear, made a track bar adjustment, 4 tires. The car was loose, so they also added some wedge. Looked like all that work might be paying off, Burns.
A little adjustment can bring a car to life, and that's what's happened for Michael Waltrip in the 15 car. His car was just a little bit tight, so they made a track bar adjustment and changed 4 tires on that car, and it's pretty quick.
So Michael in 10th, Mark Martin 9th, Jimmie Johnson 8th. As you look ahead from Waltrip's view, problem for all these guys is Kasey Kahne and Dale Jr. have checked out. Kahne out in front of Jr. by 2.5 seconds, out in front of 3rd place Matt Kenseth by 5.5. Coca-Cola family of drivers making out fairly well. Elliott Sadler farthest forward of them in 5th place. See Tony Stewart up into the top 15, and Kurt Busch, championship leader, starting the night. Remember, turn 1, lap 1, the wreck. Very nice rally.
And Kyle Petty, back in 30th, the last of the Coke drivers. On board with Dale Jarrett, and I'll tell you what, up to 12th spot from provisional land.
Very nice.
This guy's gone.
He is. Man, is he fast.
Got this little paint job on it. You can't really see the detail at speed, but it's got barbed wire all through, decals and things like that. Well, that is one tough car tonight.
He is like 4/10, 5/10 of a second faster than the 2nd place car.
Didn't barbed wire tame the West? Well, Kasey Kahne is going to tame this field at the Lowe's Motor Speedway.
There's a barbed wire right across the bottom of the hood, Matt.
AB, that barbed wire is one huge body wrap decal, BP, and you know a lot about that. It took the team 14 hours from start to finish to put that decal on, and that car is just fast. He says it's just a tick on the free side. Tommy Baldwin calling out lap times, not of the 2nd place car, Dale Jr., but of the 17. That's their biggest concern. They think he is their biggest competition.
Well, Matt, the last lap, the 17 was a little bit faster than Kasey Kahne. And that's the first time I've seen anybody faster tonight.
Well, I think he came up on the 77. That probably had a little bit to do with his time being a little slower that time.
17 being Matt Kenseth, defending series champion, who runs in 3rd place now. Here's the interval from Kasey Kahne back to Matt Kenseth. We got time to sing a little song and whistle a little tune.
There goes Junior.
There you go. There's Kenseth. That is 8.7 seconds, but shrinking, Bill.
Matt Kenseth coming in the same car he had at Dover. That's the car that he wrecked on pit road and ended up on those big tires. Well, shop foreman Wayne Gaudette on Monday, when Matt got to the shop in his Mustang, Gaudette went out in the parking lot and taped Gravedigger on the side window of Matt's car. That's after the monster truck. Because of the tires that Matt ended up on at Dover. They've had a big, this is what it looked like at Dover. Matt trying to come to pit road, was going too fast, lost control of the car, and then wound up on those huge monster tires, just like Gravedigger would use. So this car now has the nickname Gravedigger. They fixed it, brought it back, very strong. Robbie Reiser and crew confident of their chances here tonight, thanks to shop foreman Wayne Gaudette.
You know, that goes back to what we were talking about earlier, Bill. In all of these races in the chase for the Nextel Cup so far, many of the title contenders have had at least one race where they've had a problem. That obviously was Matt Kenseth's at Dover, and it was huge. Dale Earnhardt Jr., on the other hand, has been very clean through the races so far. Kurt Busch has been very clean through the races so far. And really what we're going to see over these next 5 weeks, getting down to the Miami finale, is who can avoid problems, get top 10 finishes, and who's in position to race for the title in that final race.
Well, so far, Junior and Kurt Busch have had no problems whatsoever, but
his only issue is language and victory.
Yeah.
That was his only issue.
Very nice.
25 points it cost you in Talladega.
But you're right, Alan. I mean, those guys are going to start thinking about that, and they're going to start thinking, you know, all I got to do is get through this thing clean. You know, and as these races wind down, I think you've nailed it. These guys just know they got to keep their nose clean, and they're going to be tough to beat that way.
4 races in this championship chase so far. Earnhardt Jr.'s finishes 3rd, 9th, 1st, 9th. As they run on the track right now, he's the new leader in the championship.
And Kurt Busch has averaged about a 4th place finish. And he has been fantastic.
Yeah, 1st, 5th, 5th, and 6th for Kurt in the 4 races. So there's Earnhardt Jr. running in second now, 5.1 seconds behind Casey Kane. And what a rally tonight for Kurt Busch. Talk about things championships are made of. Overcoming adversity. Turn 1, lap 1. Spun around and damaged.
Look at, there's a big gap behind the front of the 97 car. Look at behind the left front.
Yeah.
There's body damage there, and you would think that would really upset the car aero-wise, but it doesn't seem to be affecting him a whole lot.
He is racing the 88 of Dale Jarrett for that position. Bobby Labonte in 18 is a lap down, lets them go. And that's a race for 12th spot. What a rally for Kurt Busch and that team.
Tell you what, this 97, they are a great team because Jimmy Finning believes in his young driver. He thinks that he's the best wheelman out there.
They really complement each other. Jimmy Finning and Kurt Busch do. They're a good match.
Hey, Matt, what's going on with Tony Stewart? I mean, all of a sudden Jeff Gordon passed him in one on.
BP, they thought they were going to have a great race car tonight. A lot of people expected him to have another run like he did here last year when he won, but the car is just bad loose. He told the team, you can really work anywhere you want on this race car. It is just horrible all the way through the corner. That's bad loose.
That's Jeff Gordon up in front of Tony that, as I said, passed him in one on.
And you can't be loose here. I mean, you can be a little bit tight here, and you can work the throttle to prevent knocking down the wall. But if you're loose here, especially getting into the corner, and that corner right there, turn 3, it's terrifying. It's very scary to be loose going into the corners here at Low Speedway.
While we're on board Tony's car, let's get our Home Depot virtual garage fired up and tell you what loose means.
Want to talk about, you can't drive it because it's too terrifying. You go down in the corner, everything, the tires are gripping well, all 4 tires gripping, we see green, then all of a sudden the rear tires get too hot. The front sticks well, but the back end just slides out. And as I said, when it's loose, you're going to back in the wall. When it's tight, you're going to hit the wall with the front. But right now, that loose is backing it in.
And the thing is, when you're loose here, if the car gets a little bit sideways getting in, then you hit the bump. That takes even more traction off the rear, and it's a yahoo.
And Newman about to lose another spot as Jeremy Mayfield goes by and takes over the 4th position.
It's been a nice little run up here through traffic for Jeremy Mayfield, BP, from 6th to 5th and now to 4th over these last 5 laps. Casey Kane well out in front of this race as we approach the 200-mile mark from Charlotte. You're watching NASCAR on NBC.
NBC's coverage of NASCAR Nextel Cup racing from Lowe's Motor Speedway is brought to you by Chevy, the winningest name in racing, an American revolution. By Craftsman, the official tools of NASCAR. Available at Sears, Craftsman makes anything possible. By new M3 Power from Gillette, the new power behind the Gillette Young Guns. And by Discover Card. It pays to discover.
Caution flag has just come out at Lowe's Motor Speedway, Charlotte. It's going to be a short night for Carl Edwards.
Oh, man.
Dave Blaney started the car. Edwards got in under an early caution, and now he is off the pace.
Getting off turn 4 like he might have touched the wall. We see, I think he did hit the wall off turn 4. I see the right front tire's flat.
Well, that'll be a problem, won't it?
Yeah, and he didn't hit the wall, so great job. All of a sudden he slows dramatically because he feels that tire going flat. Oh, wow.
It blew right there.
Yeah.
Nice save.
Sure was.
So the yellow, a big break for a lot of people, especially Tony Stewart.
He is the lucky dog to get a full lap back.
Was just overtaken by leader Casey Kane during the commercial break and put a lap down. And the yellow flag comes out. If you're new to NASCAR, when NASCAR stopped the process of racing back to the start-finish line under a yellow flag for safety reasons, they put in a rule that the first car not on the lead lap, the highest scored non-lead lap car at each caution flag, would get a pass around the pace car and make up a lap. And our man Wally
said that guy's a lucky dog.
And it's stuck.
And it's stuck. Good job.
So Tony Stewart will be a lucky dog at this caution, the 18th place driver.
I'm going to show you how hard you've got to run to be that guy.
Yeah.
You know, the first lead lap, because you never know when it's going to come out. And boy, Stewart's very happy.
And on the other side of the coin, Kevin Harvick is the second car not on the lead lap.
He gets nothing.
He gets nothing. Here they come to the pits. Lap 121, Bill.
Matt Kenseth will bring Gravedigger to Robbie Reiser and company. Needs some help with this car. Entry into the turn. So it will be an air pressure adjustment and wedge adjustment. The last pit stop for this team, 12.96. We talked about how Robbie hadn't been happy with them lately, but this is working out well so far tonight. They make the chassis adjustment. They come to the left side. We go to Marty.
Elliott Sadler comes to his pit stall, bottom of your screen in the 5th place. He says we need to hook it up under acceleration. 2 loose, pound out of the right rear, 1 round down on the track bar. Matt?
Casey Kane's car performing flawlessly. Service already complete. No adjustments from the car. In fact, Dave, he said he can point the car anywhere he wants and it does not get tight.
Junior gone off pit road now. Car was a little bit loose off the corner. They put some air pressure into the right front tire. 4 tires and full of fuel.
So Casey Kane clearly, easily holding the lead on this exchange of pit stops. And his crew continuing to get the job done. Junior off 2nd. Looks like Matt Kenseth 3rd, Mayfield 4th, and Newman 5th. So under the yellow flag for the 5th time tonight in the UAW GM Quality 500. You're watching NASCAR on NBC. Hard at work, Ira Joe Hussey, front tire changer, Robbie Gordon.
Man, that's wonderful. I love that. 5 times. Tire goes on. 5 times.
And if you've ever had the chance to try that, those lug wrenches, the air guns throw off so much torque. If you just hold the trigger on that thing and you're not ready, it'll wave around all over the place on you. Here's our Singular Wireless Race Talk poll tonight. 8 different drivers have won this fall race at Lowe's Motor Speedway dating back to 1996. So who will extend that streak tonight to 9? Obviously, these drivers not among the winners of this fall race during that period.
Can I vote for none of the above?
Nope.
No.
Give us a bet. There's a couple good ones in there. Couple guys in the top 5.
Oh, yeah, some good choices, but didn't see the 9 car in there, did we?
We shall check your thoughts on that a little bit later on. Coming to the restart, Casey Kane is the leader. First car to his inside is Kevin Harvick, 19th place. First car 1 lap down. That's the yellow machine.
Let it roll. Let it roll. Don't
Green
wheel spin
flag,
it.
green flag.
Earnhardt got a little wheel spin on that one.
Do you talk to yourself like that when you're in the race car?
Yes.
29 car goes by Casey Kane. Gets on the tail end of the leading lap, and here comes Junior. He wants those 5 points for leading.
Inside for the race lead, Dale Jr. on Casey Kane.
Boy, now that'll thrill these fans here.
Is he going to get it this time?
Looks like he is.
There you go. 5 bonus points toward the championship and a new race leader, Dale Earnhardt Jr. Dave?
Keep in mind this weekend, Alan, on Thursday in the first practice session, this car was 43rd on the board. They worked their way to 25th in qualifying, and yesterday they were even better than that in the final practice. Now they lead the race.
And we talk about the fans here with Junior. He grew up about 20 miles from this speedway. His father raced in this area, and also his grandfather for many, many years, since back in the 60s.
North Carolina, the next town to the north of where we sit in Concord, North Carolina. This is Earnhardt country. So now Kevin Harvick on the end of the lead lap, a mile and a half behind the leader Dale Earnhardt Jr., hoping for a caution and to be in front of the leader, so then he'd be back on the lead lap. The pace car under race procedure comes
we got a caution.
Leader.
Oh, maybe not. Maybe not. How in the world did it not wreck?
They're still not done yet.
Michael Waltrip's the car in trouble. 15 car, the Napa machine on the outside.
Well, they did wreck. They just didn't hit that.
Yeah.
Man, wow, man.
Tires up.
Michael may have a flat.
Right there. Are your tires up?
No.
I don't think anything broke. Somebody got into you from behind.
Michael said, I don't know what's wrong.
He's going to feel it out.
Now, his left rear looks awfully low, but it could be low just because of just pit stops.
Try and catch his breath and regroup.
Yeah, and that's something you have to certainly do. When you're not sure what happened, you got to feel the car out for a couple laps and make sure something isn't broke.
It's hard to
Boy, that left rear looks awfully low to me.
Here comes Casey Kane for the lead.
Man. Goodbye.
I think Junior's car is a little bit better probably on the restarts, and looks like the 9 car takes a few laps to come in.
Matt, he's back where he wants to be in front.
BP Tommy Baldwin told him just be patient and it will come to you, and it did. He's back out front.
See Junior wave to him there? Okay, goodbye. All right, so what happened off turn 4 that got Michael Waltrip in such a state of concern?
It started back up in the middle of 3 and 4. There we see the contact with the 45 car of Kyle Petty. And I don't doubt that left rear tire isn't flat, because that was good contact with that tire. On board with Sterling Marlin, Prilosec car. Oh, man.
That's a nice save by Michael.
Yes. And I'll tell you what, there were about 15 drivers that did a fantastic job not to crash.
Michael has not pitted. He is on the lead lap, but he's fallen back to 18th place. And the last car on the lead lap. Matt Kenseth, 17, leading this group of lead lap cars through some of the traffic. Kenseth runs 3rd. Behind him, Elliott Sadler in the 38 is 4th. The 0 car of Ward Burton is a lap down, actually 2 laps down in 27th. Then a race for position with the 19 and the 48 of Mayfield and Johnson. That's 5th and 6th. And rejoining the race, Rusty Wallace. 55 laps down, 36th place.
And this really stinks for a driver. Have to go back out after being 55 laps down. You're just basically riding around. No fun.
Rusty Wallace involved in a wreck when Jeff Gordon spun in front of him off turn 4 at lap 77.
Robbie Gordon, the 31 car. Mark Martin, the 6th. Robbie's a lap down in the 31 car.
But you know what he's trying to do here, BP? He's trying to get up there and be that first car 1 lap down. We were talking about the lucky dog thing a minute ago. He is the 2nd car a lap down right now.
And they're telling him that. You know, they're telling him who you got to go after. You got to get by the 29 car of Kevin Harvick if you're going to be the first guy a lap down. So he's looking for him. Matt.
Robbie says the car is just all over the place, Wally. He says it is just terrible. The brakes are lacking. They made an air pressure adjustment on the last stop to try to help it. He is really fighting an ill-handling car.
Matt, it looks like it. I mean, it really does, especially through 3 and 4. Talked about earlier about the car's 4-wheel drifting over the bumps. That's what Robbie's doing. You can really see he's struggling with that race car right now.
Let's go on board. Robbie in the singular car.
Goes down the back stretch. You see, look at the cars just bouncing. Drives down in there. And he goes all the way up to the top of the racetrack. He is just hanging on.
One of the things I like about the night races, the drivers have the clear visors on their helmet. Watch his eyes. And looking ahead left around the corner. See how he's looking around the corner in front of him.
Yeah, and you can see the eyes get bigger when you get to the corner when your car's not handling well either. Yeah, the visor's up. A lot of times you'll put the visor up because it's hot. You're just trying to get some air. Also, the glare sometimes on a clear visor. With these lights are so bright here, you get some glare. So you pop that visor up, and that helps with the glare as well.
Just hope you don't get any dirt or
debris in your eye, right?
Flying around inside the car. So Robbie Gordon running in 20th place. Again, 2nd car 1 lap down. He's trying to catch his teammate Kevin Harvick for that.
And Matt Kenseth was running 3rd just a couple laps ago, and Elliott Sadler passed him, and Jeremy Mayfield passed him, and now Jimmie Johnson and the 48 cars pulled up behind him, trying to get by him. Bill, what's going on with Matt Kenseth?
Just the handle starting to slip away a little bit. They made that adjustment with air pressure last time, but they're not too concerned. Matt very calm on the radio. And Benny, as you know, Kenseth loves racing here. He loves the character of the track, all the little bumps and dips. It reminds him of short track racing at at a 1.5-mile track. Now gets passed there by the 48 as well, so his handle really going away on him. We try and stay on top of these teams, Benny. You know, we talk to crew guys, we talk to crew chiefs, and we listen to them on a scanner, but sometimes it's a little more difficult to stay on top of the story with one team than another. This was Robbie Reiser a few minutes ago to Matt on the radio.
Biggest problem in the car is that damn both of the seat belts hit me right in the wrong spot in the butt. Must be just a little too long back there by the back of my right leg, and my whole leg falls asleep in about 40 laps. I can't feel a gas pedal anymore. Then during caution, it comes back around. Oh, something the drivers always got to complain about something. That's for watch what you say. Weber's listening to you.
So Matt may not be talking about that particular problem the rest of the night. Back to you drivers up there.
Hey, you always got to find some excuse, Weber. You know that.
Because it's never the driver, right?
Never.
There are just so many things I could say there, but our producer's going to keep me from getting in trouble with Wally and say, let's go to break.
In your position, I think that's a good idea.
Mayfield trying to take third place away from Elliott Sadler, going on well behind Casey Kane, the leader, just across 200 miles in the UAW GM Quality 500.
The NASCAR Nextel Cup Series at the Lowe's Motor Speedway just outside of Charlotte, North Carolina. The chase for the Cup hits halfway tonight. Race number 5 of 10. Casey Kane out in front of this field. Take a look at the current championship standings as the teams run now. Dale Earnhardt Jr. has taken the lead by 16 points over Kurt Busch. Then it's 150 back to 5th place Mark Martin. As for the second 5, Matt Kenseth currently in the 6th position, all the way back to Ryan Newman, 239 points behind Earnhardt Jr. as they run right now at the Lowe's Motor Speedway. Time to take you through the field. Kane's up front, so Matt bats first.
Bill, his owner, Ray Evernham, told me one of the most impressive qualities about Casey's talent is how he dissects a race car. Telling crew chief Tommy Baldwin the balance is good. It might be just a tick on the loose side through the center, but it is good. And Dave, he is continuing to yard this field.
Matt, we saw the graphic of the as they run. Dale Earnhardt Jr. now the leader. Those 16 points in that lead, 5 of those came when he led just a few laps ago. Very important step for him. He radioed in at lap 138. The car is really comfortable.
Dave, the strong run for Jeremy Mayfield continues. Everything's fine with the car. This week, team owner Ray Evernham called a meeting of everybody and told them those guys can give Ray something he has never had in his racing career, a win in the fall race at Charlotte. Marty?
Bill, the best finish in the chase for the championship for Elliott Sadler is 4th last week at Kansas. Right now, Elliott Sadler, as you see, in 4th, looking much better on this run. They have to pit about lap 182, Bill.
Marty, Jimmie Johnson with the same car he had here in May when he basically dominated the race start to finish. Not that case tonight, though. Jimmie says he has to use the brake to help make the car turn. As for the 17 of Matt Kenseth, we saw it was going backwards instead of forwards. That's because the car right now just way too loose. Marty.
Bill, 3 of Mark Martin's 4 Charlotte wins have come in this race, and the car very good. He said, we're really good on long runs. We need to be better on the shorter run. In the 7th position right now, the car very happy Mark is. Joe Nemechek, they've made no adjustments on the last 2 stops. He's a little bit tight in the middle of the corner. Talk about a team with momentum. 3 top 10s in the last 4 races, Bill.
Marty, Dale Jarrett, a 3-time winner at this track, and this is becoming a very typical Dale Jarrett race. Not running awfully strong, but they continue to work on the car, making it better and better. It was getting loose at the end of the run. Added wedge, 4 tires and fuel on their last stop, Dave.
Since the restart 27 laps ago, Ryan Newman has fallen from 5th back to 10th. He radioed to his crew, I have absolutely no downforce on this car. That was in traffic. I believe traffic is playing the biggest part of Ryan's problems right now, Alan.
Top 10 drivers have 18 that are on the lead lap. At lap 152 of 334, Casey Kane in the 9, mowing him down. He's 5 seconds ahead of 2nd place Dale Earnhardt Jr. and closing in on the end of the lead lap cars to start putting some more a lap down. Let's continue going through the field. How about championship leader Kurt Busch, Matt?
Running at 11th, and what a rebound by this team. At one point tonight, they were 37th in the running order, and he came on the radio and said, we are heading in the right direction. They pulled a spring rubber on the last stop. He said, it's amazing the difference in this race car.
Jeff Burton's 30 car was loose on the last run, so they lowered the track bar. That helped tighten the car up a bit. They picked up a spot on pit road. He restarted 14th. He's up to 12th. Doing well, Marty.
Yeah, talk about the run for Sterling Marlin. Also doing well, Dave. 31st to the 13th position. A little tight in traffic. Says he needs more overall grip. They have made steady progress throughout the evening. Behind him, his teammate, Jamie McMurray. Yes, the same Jamie McMurray, driving a backup car that started shotgun on the field last tonight. Car has been very good. Matt.
Marty, major adjustments for the defending winner of this event, Tony Stewart. Wedge, track bar, air pressure, you name it. He says the car is finally coming to life, Bill.
Matt, it's the 5th career Nextel Cup start for young Kyle Busch. He turned 19 years old in May, just went around Tony Stewart. I did a radio show with Kyle earlier this week. He was on the phone, and he was explaining what it would be like to ride with him. He said, it'd be a good ride in my Busch car, but you probably would not want to ride with me in the Nextel Cup car. And I said, yeah, especially in the right-hand seat, because he has had some trouble, but a good run tonight. Dave?
Michael Waltrip running directly behind him, lost several spots with that contact with Kyle Petty. He stayed on the track, has not pitted. The crew tells me he has not said anything on the radio since. The car is back up to speed, and that left rear tire is still up on the air. Matt?
A good top 20 run going by Jimmy Spencer in the 4 car. His only problem is the car is just not tight enough. He cannot make it turn. He's got an arrow push in traffic. 30 starts here. His best finish 4th on 2 separate occasions, Bill.
Well, Jeff Gordon in the 24 car, 23rd last time by the start-finish line, not on the lead lap, losing points in the chase for the championship. Has a long way to go at a track where he has a rich history. But if he does not turn it around tonight, 2004 at Charlotte will be memories he will want to forget.
He doesn't even have a rear bumper or anything on the back of that car.
Unfortunately for Jeff, I was about to say he's the 5th car 1 lap down, but with Bobby Labonte closing in on him quickly, he's getting shuffled farther back. So the hopes of him getting up and trying to get that lucky dog pass, not looking too good.
Now,
Singular Wireless Race Talk Poll, your responses to the question we put up earlier. 8 different winners in the fall race here in Charlotte since 1996. Who will extend the streak tonight? Most of you think that Jimmie Johnson and Ryan Newman have the best chance. Johnson running in 5th and Newman running in 10th right now. Casey Kane out in front for 112 of the 158 laps that have been run so far. The 24-year-old from the Pacific Northwest looking for his first big-time win. Coming to NBC this Tuesday, the next big thing in television, where the biggest winner is the biggest loser. All for $250,000. The Biggest Loser, Tuesday, 8/7 Central on NBC.
Here's the biggest winner so far.
And Kyle Busch going a lap down. 84 cars, as a matter of fact, going a lap down, coming to the pits.
A little change for 3rd place here.
Jimmie Johnson, the 48 car, goes by Jeremy Mayfield. Takes over that 3rd spot. Meanwhile, that's a little over 9 seconds behind Casey Kane.
That's the thing. Wow. It's 3rd place, but it's 9 seconds behind the leader. It's just not something that happens in a NASCAR race that often, where somebody's car is so perfect.
Ooh, whoa, that thread the needle. Johnny Sauter, the 09 car right there. Squeezing through. Is that Ward Burton?
And 0.
In the 0, and then Jimmie Johnson back down to the bottom of the 48 car.
Well, it's a pretty good battle. Right behind him is the 38 car of Elliott Sadler, the dark blue car. And here comes Mark Martin in the blue and white 6th. All these cars are racing for position.
Sadler is in 5th place, BP. Martin is in 6th. Of course, Mark announcing here on Thursday that 2005 will be his last full season of Nextel Cup racing.
He said, look, I'm not retiring. I'm just going to stop running the NASCAR and Nextel every race in the season.
Watch the ticker coming by. The drivers highlighted in the Nextel yellow are the 10 contending for the championship. You'll notice that 8 of them are in the top 10 positions in the race. Only 2 that are outside the top 10. Tony Stewart in 16th and Jeff Gordon in 19th. How about Mark Martin? Marty?
And Alan, this is where he's so good. Mark Martin at the end of the run, car really picks up, gets very fast. But Mark is still telling Pat Trice and his crew chief, we've got to get better at the beginning of the run. We're just giving up too much time at the beginning. but BP, you know, you've got to give up time at some point almost, so they give up time in the beginning so they can be fast at the end.
But the problem is, Marty, he gave up 12 seconds.
That's a good point, but now he's trying to make it up.
Yeah, he's trying to make it up. If they run forever without stopping for gas, he'd be okay. But
problem is, you're not going to make it up in that 9 car.
No, because he, as fast as better Mark is getting versus all the other cars except the 9.
Yeah. Bill? Just an update on the 19 of Jeremy Mayfield heading to pit road in a few laps, but he is concerned that he might have a tire going down. They just told him, we need you to run a few more laps. Just keep us posted.
You know, when you get to the end of a fuel run here, it always feels like you have a tire going down because you're sliding all over the racetrack.
Mark Martin going to go around Mayfield and pick up 4th place. Jeremy sliding back to 5th, and now Elliott Sadler going to challenge him there. Sadler in the 38 car.
They'd be better off coming in and getting it done instead of losing on that track position.
Yeah, but you got to start counting laps from here to the finish, and if the race goes green, how many more pit stops you need, and that's why they're trying to coax him to stay out there.
Well, it just depends. If you're losing all that track position, it's going to bite you in the end. If you can maintain, you're right, but if you think you've got a trouble, I mean, look how much ground he's lost just in the last 3 or 4 laps.
And Alan talked earlier about the tires moving up and down inside the body of that 9 car. He is really moving around on the backstretch. Is 19 coming in the pits?
That's what we're hearing, BP. Let's keep an eye on him and see. He is down the backstretch
right now.
Sure doesn't look like it. He should be slowing down about now anytime. Okay, here he comes. Yep. He is slowing down.
So Mayfield to pit a little bit early. This will be at lap 171. Bill?
He wanted to come. They did not want him to come. Now we got somebody in the wall out there, Alan?
Matt Kenseth, one of the championship contenders. The yellow flag is out.
Oh, no. And Jeremy's going to get lapped.
Is he, though?
Keep moving. Moving. Yes, he goes by. The 9 car has gone by and put Jeremy a lap down.
But those guys are all going to come in. Yeah, okay. Well.
Oh, man, oh, man.
That's bad luck.
That is just bad luck.
And Jeremy was moving, but he had to get to the start-finish line on pit road before the 9 car. And I watched the 9 car beat him to the line.
And so Jeremy Mayfield caught a lap down by the caution. So there are 2 more championship contenders that run into troubles tonight.
And that's why they should have stayed out one more lap, right? The crew was begging, stay out. I can't stay out. Just one more lap, you'd have been okay.
But you know, I mean,
oh, you don't know.
Yeah, that's just a roll of the dice. This is bad luck, like you said.
Matt Kenseth drove through pit road and went back out onto the racetrack. And we'll try and get a look at what happened to him in a minute. Tony Stewart, that's being a lucky guy on the night. Because for a second caution.
I'm not sure Jeremy Mayfield is not going to be the lucky dog.
He should be.
I'm not. We'll have to wait and see what they say about that. But okay, NASCAR said that 20 is a lucky dog, but I thought that Jeremy would be the first car lap there. But anyway, that's their decision.
All right, so pit stops here.
Okay, there's a green. Yep, here they come.
Yeah, pit road's open. All right, Bill.
Jimmie Johnson will be one of the first to reach his stall. Again, he has that first stall right after they come off of turn 4. The car is tight. At least it's consistently tight, Jimmie said, because before he was loose in 1 and 2, tight in 3 and 4. Chassis adjustment, 4 tires. He's got Dale Jarrett in front of him. He'll weave around that way to get out. Matt.
Casey Kane said the car was just a little bit on the free side near the end of that run. They waved off the track bar adjustment, went with the wedge adjustment instead, Marty.
Mark Martin said, keep new tires on this thing, and I can do this tonight. A little too loose to start, as we talked about it. Just a half round in the left rear to fix that, Dave.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. said, my car is very good in traffic, a little bit free by itself. They make a track bar adjustment, 4 tires, and he's gone.
And he's going to squeeze in front of Jimmie Johnson and be second off the pit lane behind Casey Kane. How about Matt Kenseth, Bill?
Working on the right side, a lot of work on the right side of this car. Robbie Reiser maintaining his cool, though, telling his team, take our time, we'll work on the right sides, then we'll come back and work on the left. So we're under caution at the Lowe's Motor Speedway. Caution brought out by Matt Kenseth, one of the contenders in the chase for the Cup.
Less than a lap from the restart in the UAW GM Quality 500 for the NASCAR Nextel Cup Series at Lowe's Motor Speedway, Charlotte. 2 championship contenders in trouble. Look ahead from Dale Jarrett's car. Watch Matt Kenseth.
Goes in the corner, and we see the car just go straight in, indicative of a right front tire going flat. And we we saw a right front tire flat on the 99 car earlier. So,
yeah. So Jeremy Mayfield on pit road when Matt Kenseth had his problem and the caution came out. Trapped Mayfield a lap down. He comes out the first car 1 lap down, is lined up to the inside of his teammate Kasey Kahne, and will try and get that lap back on this restart if he can.
I think he can. His car seems to be pretty good. There's the right front of the 17 car Matt Kenseth. So
an inside shoulder
went down, yeah.
Inside shoulder problem.
But I think Mayfield's car may be good enough on the short run where it has taken Kasey Kahne a few laps to get going, but we'll see.
Green flag.
Got to worry about Earnhardt.
Yeah. Dale Jr. hanging right with Kasey Kahne. Remember last restart he took the lead for a few laps from Kahne.
There you go. Mayfield got a good run off the bottom of the racetrack, so that's what I thought his car would be good enough to hang there for a little while.
Oh, 3 wide.
Got Robbie Gordon down there on the bottom.
Inside of Junior, inside of Kahne.
This is going to get busy.
Oh, yeah, here comes Jimmie Johnson. Junior goes to the lead. Johnson trying to go into second spot, and Mark Martin on the inside of Jimmie Johnson.
Meantime, Robbie Gordon gets one of his laps back so far.
If he can stay in front of the leader. Mark Martin in the 6, racing Elliott Sadler in the 38 for 4th.
He was just racing the 48 a minute ago, but Jimmie Johnson able to get a run down the front straightaway and go by Mark Martin, and Elliott Sadler does the same. Here comes Ryan Newman trying to do it to Mark Martin. But as he said, Mark Martin, the 6 car, the car doesn't run well the first few laps after a tire change.
Always so tense the first couple laps of a restart. Marty?
Well, Alan, Mark Martin's been a glass half full kind of guy lately, hadn't he been, BP? He's been positive about things, and he said to Pat Tryson, if you keep new tires on this thing, I still think we can keep up with the 9 and we can win this race. They've been trying to make the car better at the beginning of the run. They did make a wedge adjustment, and Mark has said the car very good in the first few laps here.
All right. See how he makes out. Mark Martin 5th. Ryan Newman dogging him from behind, trying to find a way to pick up a spot.
Out of board, Mark Martin's ready here to get right after the throttle, so car's working pretty good.
Yeah, fresh tires after a pit stop.
That makes you feel like a hero.
Happy time.
Picks up the throttle. Wow. Jimmie Johnson for the lead, to the lead.
First time he's led all night. One of the championship contenders. 5 bonus points toward the Nextel Cup. 5th driver to lead tonight, Jimmie Johnson.
But there's Kasey Kahne up on the high side, working by Robbie Gordon again in the silver car. So usually it takes a few laps for Kasey Kahne's car to come in. But boy, when it does, it goes.
So Kahne in 3rd place now. And working the outside of the lap car of Robbie Gordon. It's Elliott Sadler behind him, 38, racing for that position.
Wow, this is going to be interesting watching Kasey Kahne try to get back by these guys, huh?
I think he'll make it look easy.
He probably will. But at least he's got 2 or 3 cars.
Yeah, get some fun out there. Yeah. Always a lot more fun when you're passing and racing guys and out there by yourself.
How quickly he moved away from this race.
Yes, I don't know. Never really had a good car like that before.
You think
I think it'd be fun. I'm not sure. I don't know. I think it'd be boring, but.
Hey, Dave, they're making this 12 car any better?
Yeah, and you know what's doing it, BP?
What?
Red wheels.
Yeah, look at the red wheels on. I was going to ask you where you're getting those from.
I went down and checked with Ray Ocean, the tire specialist for the 12 car. He said, you know, with all the different tires that you can choose from when you air them up here from Goodyear, the 77 car, our teammate Brendan Gaughan had some that I really wanted to make what you might call a perfectly matched set for the 12 car.
Stagger's a little bit different, Dave. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, Ray didn't go into great detail, but he was actually looking at the date codes and other things on the tires in terms of what he wanted.
There's a lot to matching tires in this business and having nice, pretty wheels.
Guy come to the racetrack for 4 days and do nothing but sit there and look at tires and work at tires and air them up and air them out and measure them up.
Yeah, those guys are busy with tires all the time.
Newman working on the lap car of Robbie Gordon there.
unsuccessfully.
And Ryan led 28 laps earlier in the race, but then the handling on his car kind of fell off, and they just haven't been able to get it back right on that sharp edge.
Right now, we've got a battle going on for the second position. Guess who?
Making it look easy. Casey Kane. Wow.
Not going to be much of a battle.
No. Matt, that thing is just hooked up.
Said it was a little bit tighter than normal at the beginning of this run, but it is coming in, and as you can tell, the lap before he was down in the 29-second range, and he is motoring back to the front, chasing down Jimmie Johnson.
He's got 0.4 of a second to make up to catch Jimmie Johnson, who just had his hands full in turn 4. Stacker 2 track fact. 5 season sweeps at Lowe's Motor Speedway. Jimmie Johnson trying to do the sweep. Won the 600 here back in May. Trying to join Fred Lorenzen, Bobby Allison, David Pearson, Richard Petty, and Dale Earnhardt. And sweeping races at this racetrack in a season.
Bill, he's got an uphill task trying to beat this 9 car tonight.
Yeah, but right now he's doing okay. And you know,
no, Bill. No, watch that.
I said right now.
Oh,
see,
okay.
now he's not doing okay.
Okay.
He's holding him up, though, BP. That's what it's all about. Changed a lot of things on that 48 car this morning, trying to make it good. But that 9 car, man, that is a... Hey, Benny?
Yes?
It hurts me to say this, but you were right.
Man.
Don't forget about that 19 car that got his lap back and is way out there.
And Wally, it was the right front on the 19, and it was the inside shoulder, just like it looked like on Matt's car. If Mayfield had stayed out there, I believe he might have ended up in the wall.
Yeah, that's you know, normally when you're losing that much ground, you think you got something wrong. That's a driver call too. You got to decide whether it's bad enough you think something's wrong. You need to come in because the crew wants you to stay out, but normally your tail's telling you something different.
So that's something that we've got to watch for, Bill. These cars ran about 50 laps on the green flag, and 2 right front tires had a problem at almost the same time.
Yeah, and this track normally tightens up at night, right?
That's right.
So how's that going to affect that?
Well, yeah, I mean, there's more grip, and yes, the track will get tighter, but you're abusing the right front tire when you're pushing anyway. And if you just, these guys are all adjusting, trying to make the cars looser, but some of them aren't keeping up with the adjustments. And as the track gets cooler and gets more grip, you just kill the right front tire.
And the other thing they have to do is they have to learn from what the other guys have already experienced so far tonight.
That's right. They're all talking about those 2 tires that have blown. So they may be coming in a little bit earlier next time.
Hey, look at this. Kurt Busch back up front. He has moved up to 7th in the race and has edged back in front of Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the chase for the Nextel Cup.
Even though Junior is running in the 3rd position.
Of the top 7 drivers in the race at the moment, 6 of them are championship contenders.
And they're championship contenders for that reason.
Because they're
normally up front.
Yeah. What a rally for Kurt Busch as we check the gap from the leader Casey Kane back to the 97 car. Involved in a crash, turn 1, lap 1. Went all the way to the back of the field, Matt. They're up into the top 10.
Worst finish in the chase 6. Now he's telling his crew chief Jimmy Finning the car just won't do anything. It is beyond tight, especially when I get in the throttle. It's pushing on the straightaways as well. He's just not happy with the way this race car is
pushing on the straightaways. That's really pushing.
And again, that right front sliding across the racetrack really complicates the problem with that right front tire.
And where he's running right now, the 31 car, Robbie Gordon, is just really destroying the air for 97 car Kurt Busch. So the car's even worse right now as Dale Jarrett works on the back of the 97 car. Because Kurt just can't turn underneath the 31. He can't get the car to turn, and it's just aero tight around other cars, just makes it 10 times worse.
And I'm so impressed with this drive for Dale Jarrett tonight. He started this race on a provisional. He wasn't fast enough to qualify on his time trial speed. He started 39th. And with all the guys that Casey Kane had put a lap down and trapped behind in this race, Dale Jarrett is up to 8th and he's not in danger of being put a lap down.
Jarrett's always seems to be one of those guys that just sneaks up on you in a place like this, isn't it, Bill? I mean, he always just quietly marches to the front, and at the end of the race, he's there.
You took the words right out of my mouth. That's all I was going to say. Like we talked about earlier, this is a Dale Jarrett kind of race. When the car's not that good, he can work on it. He can help you with it, especially here. Runs good at this track. He and Mike Ford, a good relationship. Again, working very hard, even though they're not in the chase. They want that 11th spot. Jarrett trying to pick up another one.
Jarrett 82 points behind 11th place, and if you're new to NASCAR, the first finishing driver outside of the 10 that are racing for the championship going to end up with nearly $1 million at the award ceremony in New York in early December. Casey Kane, the youngster from the Pacific Northwest, in search of his first NASCAR Nextel Cup Series win. We're coming up on 300 miles tonight. You're watching NASCAR on NBC. Carolina for the NASCAR Nextel Cup Series. The chase for the championship down to its final 6 races. The man who's been doing most of the rocking and rolling tonight, young Casey Kane, driving for Ray Evernham, trying to pick up his first series win. He's out in front by almost 3 seconds over Jimmie Johnson. Pretty impressive, Matt.
Crew Chief Tommy Baldwin just told Casey, by looking at the lap times, the wedge adjustment on the last stop didn't really hurt or help the car. But the one concern, BP, this team has, it takes about 10 laps for the car to come in. They do not want to see a green-white checker finish tonight.
That's right, because a couple of months ago, NASCAR said, okay, the fans have been wanting a green flag finish. We're going to give you one chance at a green-white checker. There may be a caution flag with a couple laps to go. We'll extend the race by a couple of laps. Under those circumstances, the 9 car would be in big trouble.
No troubles for him right now, though.
No.
And we have just crossed 300 miles. It's a 3-second lead on Jimmie Johnson. Earnhardt Jr.'s third. Beginning to feel some pressure there from Mark Martin, who's moved up to 4th and closing. And Ryan Newman has just taken 5th away from Elliott Sadler. It looks like maybe he's beginning to point in the right direction again. There's Johnson, 2nd place runner. Jimmie Johnson won the 600-mile race, the Coca-Cola 600 back here Memorial Weekend. He led 500 miles. Of the 600. He's had the night back in May that kind of Casey Kane is having tonight, huh?
Indeed, yeah. Still running really pretty fast in that 48 car. In fact, that lap there was the fastest lap.
Yeah, he was faster than Casey Kane. Casey might have been in a traffic situation, but nevertheless, he was faster.
Jimmie Johnson 9th in the championship coming into tonight's race. There's Dale Earnhardt Jr. 2nd in the championship entering the night. He's running 3rd, and he's 5 seconds behind the leader, Dave.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. radioed just after he got passed by Casey Kane that was a little too tight off the corner. Then on lap 200, they had a conversation about it. And Tony Eury Jr. on his crew said, all right, we'll put it back. He was referring to the track bar adjustment to tighten the car up. It was just a little bit too much. And Tony said, I just wanted to try that.
All right, there's your 3rd place runner, Jr. And beginning to close on him, the wily veteran, Mark Martin.
Watch out for this guy. He knows how to run this racetrack in the fall, doesn't he?
Yes, he does. Marty, what are they saying?
During each run, BP, it kind of runs through cycles, starts a little bit loose, and then it's really fast, and it gets a little too tight towards the end of the run. Mark's in that section where it's really fast right now. He is catching Dale Jr., and he should catch him about the time they have to come down pit road to pit. Dave?
Marty, on the last pit stop, Ryan Newman's crew made a track bar, wedge, and air pressure adjustment to try to fix his really loose race car. Ryan radioed back on lap 187. Guys, it's a lot better. That's something you like to hear. Marty?
Dave, Elliott Sadler trying to track down Ryan Newman. Problem is he's going the wrong way. Came on the radio, told the crew this is the worst set of tires we've had all night long. Car extremely loose now for Elliott, but as you see, he's run very well tonight, very consistent, currently in the 6th position.
So that's Elliott in 6th place, and then to 7th, there's Kurt Busch. Championship leader coming into the night, who has overcome some difficulties in the early part of this race. How how he got here as far as the chase for the Nextel Cup is concerned. Well, he started out the best way he could.
He won the first race in the chase for the Cup. Loudon, New Hampshire. He's the guy that does the donuts.
Boy, dodged a bullet, didn't he? Kansas City.
Spins and no one hits him. All these cars around him. Jimmie Johnson spins and no one hits either one of them.
Came back to finish 6th in that race. Then turn 1, lap 1 tonight. Scott Riggs had a mechanical failure up at the head of the field. And Kurt was knocked around in the resulting traffic jam. Fell all the way back to the back of the field getting fixed. And here he is in 7th place.
And Wally, that left front fender behind the tire is not getting any better. Looks like it's out now as a parachute.
And they may peel the whole door off.
Caution. Debris on the back straightaway is the word we're getting from NASCAR. Rodney Wise waving the yellow flag, and this would be the 6th caution on the night. Hey, guess who's going to be your lucky dog?
Jeff Gordon.
It's not going to be Jeremy Mayfield because he still stayed in front of Casey Kane, the red car. He will go around the field and make up the lap on his own, and Jeff Gordon left to be the lucky dog.
Got himself up to the first car, not on the lead lap. Gordon's going to be back in the hunt for a good finish.
Yeah, he's a 16th spot. I mean, last time I looked over there, he was 25th or 26th, so they must be making that car a little bit better.
Well, that makes things interesting. This makes things interesting, too. 124 laps to go. Pit stops maybe with 123 to go. So if you split that in half, everybody should be good from here to the finish on one more lap, mostly.
Is that a definite maybe?
One more stop. Is that what I said, one more lap?
Yeah, one more lap.
I've had a couple weeks off. You got to give me a little slack there, okay?
Okay.
We have to?
It's that whole math thing again. All right. Casey Kane's crew has been able to get him on and off pit road best most of the night.
You know, some cars you talk about making it on one more stop on the green. Some cars will probably not be able to do that because it's cold tonight. Walking through the garage area today, every engine builder is putting more fuel in the engine, using more fuel because of the cold temperatures.
Well, that's why I said mostly.
Yeah, mostly, yeah. But some of them, unfortunately, will probably make it. All right, Bill, coming to you.
All right, once again, Jimmie Johnson has that pit stall right off of turn 4. The car is tight off the turns, so they're going to try and fix that with a chassis adjustment and a very small air pressure adjustment. So it's a track bar around, and the track bar, air pressure adjustment, we go to Marty.
There at the end of the run, Mark Martin got a little too tight for his liking, Bill. Bottom of your screen, they're going to take out the wedge adjustment they did last time out of the left rear. Too tight, Matt.
Taking out the wedge adjustment, they made the Casey Kane's Dodge in the last stop. Going to go down on the track bar. He felt like he was just too slow at the beginning of the run, Dave.
4 tires for Junior, already been around the right side. Track bar back up. Car got too tight on that last run. He is off pit lane.
Oh, is it going to be Mark or Junior or the Newman car?
Newman.
Wow, Newman. And maybe Mark might have been. That's a good battle off pit road there.
That's an excellent pit stop for Newman's team. He came in 5th.
Yeah, it was.
There goes Casey Kane.
Guess who's in first?
And there's Newman. Mark.
Jimmie Johnson out 5th, and then Kurt Busch. Casey Kane's team continues to get it done on pit road as well as their drivers getting it done on the racetrack. He's the leader just past 300 miles in Charlotte. The night that's been for the championship contenders and the chase for the Nextel Cup did not start off well for Kurt Busch and Jeff Gordon.
Big crash down in turn 1. They get together. Kurt Busch spins out, goes up and bangs off the 51, but the crew bangs out the fender, does a good job. He's back in contention, but Jeff Gordon has really struggled tonight.
Lap 76.
Trouble for Jeff Gordon off of 4, and Rusty Wallace clobbers him. He's got no place to go. Too bad for Rusty. Rusty had a really good car tonight.
Matt Kenseth.
The right front tire go flat. We see him working on the car, and he's been back on the racetrack. He is 1 lap down, currently in 19th position.
And he is the only of the 10 contenders for the Nextel Cup not on the lead lap at this point. Tony Stewart got a lucky dog pass twice. Jeff Gordon just got one. Mayfield made up a lap on the racetrack.
And watch out for that Mayfield. He's going to be climbing his way back up, I bet, in the top 5 before this thing's over.
Wow, look at Robbie Gordon. What a terrific run he gets and goes blowing by the leader, Casey Kane. Meanwhile, Mark Martin trying to take over second spot from Ryan Newman.
Robbie Gordon is 2 laps down. Well, 1 now. If he can stay there, or as long as he stays there.
So, new second-place runner Mark Martin up behind Casey Kane. Closest he's been to the point all night long.
And you know that Mark right now would love to get the lead as he tries to go for it off turn 2, get those 5 bonus points.
Kane slid up the racetrack a little bit going into turn 1 there.
Yeah. Bobby Hamilton Jr., that 32 car going by Casey Kane. Man, that 9 car struggles on his first few laps after a tire change. There's Jr. trying to take over 3rd.
There's Earnhardt. Kind of boxed in behind the 32 car of Bobby Hamilton as Casey Kane's working the high side. Now it looks like it's starting to come in for him.
So 5 bonus points toward the championship for Mark Martin for leading a lap tonight at lap 216. Mark coming into the night 5th in the chase for the Nextel Cup. And 150 points behind leader Kurt Busch.
There's Harvick, 29 car. He's the first car 1 lap down right now.
Something going on with Casey Kane, Matt?
Just came on the radio. Said, Tommy, a couple laps ago, something broke in the car. It is now vibrating. The dominant car tonight may have a problem. You can see the panic on the crew guys' faces.
Oh, man.
Well, how many times have we said there's still a long way to go?
Oh, yeah.
He's still pretty fast.
Yeah, he is. This is for the lead. He's come back up behind Mark Martin.
And you saw the number of laps Casey has led tonight. He's now set a new career high of number of laps.
Look at that. Sorry, Alan, but
yeah,
he is dragging the front valence. That thing was folded underneath the front of the car going through the corner. You want it low, but you don't want it dragging like that.
And we see that 9 car, he just glues it for the racetrack. You're right. It's rubbing the track down in the corner. But, you know, Casey Kane talked about a vibration and something. He felt something. Maybe it could be a wheel weight. You know, they balance these racing tires because, after all, they're going to run 180 miles per hour. They knock weights, lead weights on the rims. Could be one of those flew off. He heard it hit the car, and now it's vibrating.
Yeah, because also you're really bottoming out right now, too. If the pressure's low, you see the sparks coming from his car. That's because that car's just bouncing off the racetrack. So
not slowing him down. Here he goes for the race lead. Wow, man. So Casey Kane back out in front, continuing the pattern we've seen on several restarts tonight, where he struggles the first few laps after the green and then gets it going.
Earnhardt Jr. all over the back. Mark Martin tries to get a little bit loose off of 2, and Mark says, you can have it.
Looks like he was successful in getting that loose part.
I think Mark got what he was looking for there for a minute, which was those bonus points for leading the lap.
And right now, Mark's got all kinds of problems with the 12 car, Newman and Jimmie Johnson.
Mark Martin, 4-time winner here at this racetrack. And to come into the night 5th in the championship standings. I think I said that a second ago.
Tell you what, you know, you take Casey Kane out of the mix, and that 9 car and the rest of these cars are really equal to anybody's race for second.
Yeah, but you know, how many times does the fastest car not win the race?
Quite often in this game.
Yep.
Unfortunately.
And you know, if you're new to NASCAR, that sounds weird, but it's like the planets have. Oh, trouble! Who's smoking? Kevin Harvick did not hit anything. Caution is out. I've got one spinning behind him. Is that Kenseth?
2 or 3 spinning.
That Kenseth it is.
And there's another car up against the wall between 1 and 2.
Oh, Carl Edwards.
He's just having a rotten night.
Looks like there was some oil on the racetrack, and maybe Carl got into it.
He's probably going to wish he hadn't come back here to get into this race car tonight.
It's not been good.
Second set of troubles he's had after top 10 finish in the Craftsman truck race in Fort Worth earlier today. He showed up here, and it's not working out.
And Harvick takes the 29 car directly to the garage because he realizes the engine is history.
So like you were saying before, it must have been something come out of that 29 car, Harvick's car,
What's up with 19, Bill? What's going on?
He obviously has had contact with somebody. The left rear is wrinkled. You guys can see the right side. I can't see that.
It's pretty bad, Bill.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, the rear's bashed in. The left rear quarter panel's bashed in, and he's got heavy damage to the right side. So he just said, I'm coming. Got a lot of damage. So when another contender in the chase for the Cup having a rough night at Charlotte.
Well, that's his second problem on the night.
Oh, he killed the engine.
He's got more problems than just that.
Yeah.
That car's not going to be fun to drive.
Look at that right rear.
But another car that's going to have to go out and ride around and get the best he can.
Leaders pit stops, Bill.
Jimmie Johnson in. Again, a chassis adjustment. This car just continues to get tighter and tighter as they go along. So it's a chassis adjustment, 4 tires, and again, they will top it off with fuel, Dave.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. in now. He said, free it up a bit, guys. They will go to a wedge adjustment. That's the top hole on the rear window. 4 tire change for Jr. Hitches marks well. It was just a little bit too tight for him. He decided now was the time to pit, and he's off.
Man, what a great pit stop with those guys.
I tell you who did not pit was Kasey Kahne. He stayed on track. All right, what happened?
There's the 29 going down in a turn 1, and you'll see he loses the engine right there.
And Kurt Busch, the 97 car, right behind him. You see the oil dropping on the racetrack. Man.
So that's what started it, and here's how the rest of them got involved.
Oh, the 19 he just drove right in the oil. He was on the high side of the racetrack. There's nothing you can do. There's 17, Matt Kenseth. And there's nothing you can do as a driver. When you're going to a corner that fast and you hit oil, you are going for the ride.
Remember Kasey Kahne with, what, 15 laps to go at Dover, leading the race, went down in turn 3, hit some oil, and did the same thing, only hit the wall a lot harder. And the 17 car also crashed. Matt.
BP, they are still trying to figure out what is wrong with Kasey Kahne's Dodge. Tommy Baldwin told him, now, put the car in neutral. Does it still vibrate? He says, yes, still vibrates. Told him to shut the motor off. Shut it off. He said, no, it's not vibrating. He went to restart it. It would not turn over. He had to bump start it. They're trying to figure out if indeed it's the motor, the transmission. A lot of conversation going on between crew chief Tommy Baldwin and Kasey Kahne.
Matt, why did they choose not to pit? They can make it on one more stop, and they feel like their car's going to be okay with these tires?
That was what they were talking about, BP. They were going to be good to go at this point on one more stop. The bigger concern, though, if this race car will last, they are not sure. Kasey, in fact, said maybe we should just pit anyway and just take a look at it. But they are still talking about the car that is leading the race may have a possible problem that could keep it out of victory lane.
5 drivers did not pit under the caution flag. A couple of championship contenders find trouble. We'll get back to it in just a minute. You're watching NASCAR on NBC. Our Wrangler 5-star finishes tonight. Kasey Kahne's close brushes with victory this season.
That's close. That was really close.
Lost out to Matt Kenseth by inches. Texas.
Elliott Sadler, the 38 car, beats him by half a car length.
And then Michigan. He's catching Ryan Newman and catching him and catching him. And in turn 4, the caution comes out for a crash behind him, and his chance to try and overtake him at the finish line is over. 5 second-place finishes for Kasey Kahne this year. For more on Wrangler 5-star finishes, go to NASCAR.com. He's led 167 of 227 laps tonight, has Kasey Kahne, but right now a little concern in his team's pit.
Because all of a sudden there's a vibration in the car, and usually vibrations manifest themselves in something breaking, don't they, Matt?
BP, still a lot of conversation. Tommy, any idea what's wrong with the car?
No, we don't. He just picked up a vibration there as he was catching the 6 car, throughout the gas pedal and his leg braces and his legs. So, we probably got narrowed down to either clutch, flywheel, or transmission, something like that. And, we just got to see what happens. I mean, this UAW Dodge deal, his number 9's been hauling the mail all night, and see what we can do here.
In fact, his cousin Cole, who's also a spotter, has relayed the message to both the 12 and the 6 cars that they may have a problem on the start, possible transmission or something along those lines. Kasey is concerned, Marty.
Kevin Harvick's walked from his trailer, Matt, and did you have any indication the engine was letting go, Kevin?
No, it just let go at the end of the straightaway. Kind of sucks for the GM Goodwin Chevrolet. We got ourselves in position to get our lap back there, and Todd made some good adjustments on the car and able to get it back running, but we've been struggling with our motors all year and didn't run tonight, and it blew up, so par for the course, I guess.
There you go. In the second straight week also for an engine failure for the 2019.
I think I know what's wrong with the 9 car.
What's that?
Some of the crew has been complaining to me that the flywheels, the cars are so soft, sprung so softly, the cars sink so much the flywheels are hitting the racetrack. And that's a flex plate that's about 15 inches across in circumference, and it goes down and hits the racetrack. It's knocked a tooth off of it. That's how you start the car, is with the flex plate. It's knocked a tooth off that flywheel when it hit the racetrack.
Well, we talked about it earlier. He was one of the cars that was hitting the racetrack very hard, especially after the restart. So very possible.
Professor Parsons, thank you, sir.
Well, a guy told me, he said, if our car ever stalls on pit road, we'll never be able to start it because we won't have any teeth left on the flex plate.
A lot of oil dry put down around this racetrack, still cleaning it up. Casey Kane, the leader. Ira Joe Hussey going to work on Robbie Gordon's car. Man, he's changed a lot of tires tonight, hasn't he? We'll come back for the restart in a minute. You're watching NASCAR on NBC. Coming to the restart, Casey Kane's been talking about whether or not he was going to have mechanical troubles here.
He's told the 6 car that he's going to stand against the wall just in case there is an issue. Looks like everything is fine with the 9.
Other than it's a restart.
Yeah, and we see the.
And we'll see a bunch of guys go by him.
Ooh, big bottle up.
That's Kyle Busch in the 84 car that just flew by the leader, Casey Kane. And
they're all blowing by Jeremy Mayfield, who's just off pit road after another extended stop for repairs.
Look at that. 97, Kurt Busch.
That's the second position, isn't it?
He is in second.
What a comeback.
Man, oh man.
Casey Kane leads, Kurt Busch second, Mark Martin third, Ryan Newman fourth, Michael Waltrip fifth, then Elliott Sadler, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Jeff Burton, Jimmie Johnson, Sterling Marlin, and would you believe Jeff Jr.
Yeah, I tell you, if he didn't hit the wall, he came as close as you can and not hit it.
Lost only one spot on that lap. 7th back to 8th. A couple of lap cars went by him. Now, on the caution flag, 5 drivers did not pit. Casey Kane, Mark Martin, Ryan Newman, Kurt Busch, Michael Waltrip. So that's why they restarted in the top 5 positions.
Kurt Busch, the 97, goes by his younger brother, Kyle Busch.
Looking for Dale Jr.
Oh, man. He almost ran in the back of the 38. I think he slammed on the brakes to avoid that.
Yeah, there he goes down underneath them. That's exactly what happened. He got on the brakes. The car got a little bit loose when he hit the brakes, and he saved it. Bill.
Yeah, just an update on Mayfield. 19 to the garage. They'll try and do some work and get back out, but this could be the one that just takes them out of it, Dave.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. radioed his crew, didn't blame anybody, just said, boys, I about wrecked, obviously.
Yes, he did.
I'll agree with that. You know, Jeff Burton, that white car right in front of Junior, is in the 7th position.
Good run.
Great night. Started back in 35th place, Dave.
Sat up in the hauler and talked to Jeff Burton this afternoon about his run here. He said the worst thing for us today is our starting position. Someone always gets a great run at the beginning and puts everybody laps down. They started 35th. They moved up quickly. They've moved their way into the top 10 now, and Jeff can race with these guys.
Now, what about the 9 car, the race leader, Casey Kane? Matt, any more updates on the vibration?
Casey just keyed the mic and said the car is perfect. Tommy Baldwin said 0.2 of a lap faster than anybody else. I'd say it's perfect. Nothing more about the vibration.
Good.
Yeah, he's hooked up, but like we talked about earlier, he better pray it's not a green-white checkered.
Because he has his hands full for the first couple
really
laps.
does. It takes about 3-4 laps before that car feels good to him.
And then you see he just moves away from the pack. 2.5 over second place Kurt Busch. And about to put Robbie Gordon.
Oh, look out.
Okay, maybe not. A second lap down.
Man. Okay.
So that's 2 laps down.
Robbie put up a valiant effort.
Yes, he did.
But tonight, there's a faster car in the house.
We had a lot of guys who started way in the back of the pack who've got themselves up into the top 10. We check our lows, improvers, and snoozers, and you will see a lot of gaining of ground over the course of this race. Get to that in just a second.
Guys in the truck are snoozing.
I'm not going there. Here's the Lowe's car, Jimmie Johnson, running in 9th place. Lost a little track position by pitting under this caution. Some of the other guys who were behind him before the yellow did not stop. Billy's got to make up some spots here.
Yeah, and it might be tough, too. Just talk to Chad Knaus. That car is tight, and they can't seem to fix that problem. They've talked about it on the radio. They've tried different adjustments. But the 48 car Johnson might just be too tight to go back to victory lane tonight.
Yeah, they've made a lot of adjustments on that car, according to Bill. Every time they've come in, they've really tried to loosen it up, but they're not gaining on it. The track looks like it's getting cooler and more grip, and they just can't not only keep up, but just get ahead of it.
It's kind of a hard concept for people to understand that maybe don't follow the sport regularly, but how temperature affects the way a race car sticks to the pavement of a racetrack.
Yeah, when the track gets cool, it just gets more, there's more grip. And if you have a race car that's a little bit tight to begin with, that grip, you have more grip in the rear tire, so that's going to make it push even more. So yeah, you really have to, it's so important to adjust. These guys are so good at adjusting race cars, but it really matters here at Lowe's because this is such a bumpy and rough racetrack. It's tough to get a hold of.
Okay, here we go. Our Lowe's improvers and snoozers. Look at this.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me at all with Dale Jarrett.
And Kurt Busch, it says started 21st. Well, after the first lap, he actually started about 40th.
Jeff Burton, for that matter.
Yeah.
I mean, he usually finds his way to the front.
And the snoozers, Casey Mears, unscheduled pit stop for a tire he thought was going down. Rusty Wallace caught in a crash while he was running 5th. Greg Biffle caught in that turn 1, lap 1 crash. He's back out on the speedway, but it's not going well. Speaking of not going well, Marty?
Yeah, Jeremy Mayfield in the garage, Allen in the heavily damaged number 19 car. And how bad is the damage, Jeremy?
We got the body quite a bit and the right front lower A-frame, something like that bent, but we had an awesome car, man. Hats off to these guys working on this Dodge team and Everhand Motorsports. Everybody had done a great job. Casey's running good. We had a great car, just I guess got into somebody's oil or something up there. I'm not sure what happened, but just lost it and got in the wall there.
As Bill mentioned, this may be the one that breaks the back. If he cannot gain any positions, this would be his 3rd finish in the chase for the Cup of 33rd or worse.
Yep. And none of them of his making, really. Just wrong place, wrong time.
Exactly. So there is such a thing as bad luck in this business.
And he's had all of it.
Yeah, so far. And it looks so good for him. He went to Richmond, the 26th race, won the race to qualify to get in the top 10, and those guys were on a roll. And the next race, it started badly, and it really hasn't got much better.
Look at this race for position. 3 wide. Hello.
Looked like the finish of that Busch race last night.
It didn't look like Jimmie Johnson's car was pushing there.
Jeff Burton said, okay, I'll let you go.
And guys, you're not going to believe this, but guess who the next car behind Jeff Burton? There he is.
Maybe they're not ready to make that thing a show car.
Jeff Gordon is running in 10th position.
Got the lucky dog at lap 210, Bill. He's making the most of it.
He sure is. And remember, Alan, that's the same car they had here in May that was so awful. Jeff was embarrassed when they finished 30th. They took that car to Chicago, and the car was awful again until they found the jack bolt kept backing itself out. They fixed that problem, and remember the last 100 miles of Chicago? He came ripping through the field to finish 4th. Could be a replay tonight.
Well, that 38 car all of a sudden has some serious handling problems. Elliott Sadler came off turn 2, and the car just went straight ahead and allowed Jeff Gordon to get on the inside of him. Marty, has he said anything?
Oh, yeah. He said a couple of things, BP, and many of them being bad right now. Way too tight. Worst it's been all night long, did Elliott Sadler say. Not very happy with the 38 car right now.
Casey Kane out in front. As we approach 400 miles in this race, we'll take you through the field when we come back to Charlotte. You're watching NASCAR on NBC.
NBC NBC's coverage of NASCAR Nextel Cup racing from Lowe's Motor Speedway is brought to you by TGI Fridays. Check out the new Jack Daniel's Flat Iron Steak from TGI Fridays, because everyone could use more Fridays. By Capital One, what's in your wallet? By new Prestone All Makes, All Models Extended Life Antifreeze Coolant. Trust Prestone for your own protection. And by UPS, the official express delivery company of NASCAR. UPS, we want to race the truck. People love the truck. Lowe's Motor Speedway, Charlotte, North Carolina. 80 laps to go. 2 different pit sequences working. Casey Kane thinking about when he might be coming in. Maybe 20 to 25 laps from now. Been a bad night for some of the contenders for the Cup and a good night for others. No day at the beach for Kane, but maybe some good vibrations anyway. Let's take you through the field. Here's Matt.
Casey Kane has pulled out to about an 8-second lead. This young man has seen a full range of emotions this year. He's won poles. He has finished second 5 different times. He slipped in oil while leading at Dover, crashed out while leading at Chicago. They have come so close, and they have the dominant car tonight. Maybe tonight's the night, Dave.
At the last opportunity to pit, Ryan Newman's team chose not to bring him in. Ryan had radioed to his crew, it's the most drivable it's been all night, and they knew they could also make it on one more stop. Marty? Matt?
Dave, championship point leader coming into Lowe's. Kurt Busch. They could have had a huge swing in the points tonight, but they battled back. They started at 1 point in 37, currently running in the 3rd position. The car's a little bit tight, Marty.
On Thursday, Mark Martin announced the Salute to You Tour, the 2005 final Cup season for Mark Martin. Right now, he's saluting his crew. Car just a little bit tight, about 25 laps away from stops, but picking up speed. Dave?
After Dale Earnhardt Jr. nearly crashed, he said the car was still tight. We might be going the wrong way, but he recognized that he was driving it very hard and that he was in traffic, and knowing those 2 things in clean air, he radioed in, the car is coming around. Bill?
Jimmie Johnson in the 48 car, 10 career wins. 2 of them have come here, including May of this year and May of last year. But once again, that car may be too tight to get his 11th career win, Dave.
Michael Waltrip stayed out on the last pit stop. They had gotten the car a little bit looser finally, so they went back on an adjustment that made the car tighter again. Michael not exactly happy with it, but he is running in the top 10. Bill?
Well, Jeff Gordon loves this place. The Lowe's Motor Speedway has worked his way all the way back to the 8th position after having a miserable night earlier. If there is another caution in this race, I got 2 words for you. Jeff Gordon. Dave?
2 words, Jeff Burton. He has lost spots since the restart. Car has gone just a little bit loose on him. They made an adjustment to go back on something they did earlier, and unfortunately, it's gotten the car too loose for Jeff. Bill?
Dale Jarrett continues to fight the handling of his car, but he does have himself in the 10th position. Been a strong run for this team. Jarrett trying to get himself another victory.
His Marty. Bill, his teammate behind him, Elliott Sadler. They pitted on lap 224, took 2 tires, and for the 2nd time, 2 tires did not work for the 38 car. They won't try that again tonight. Car way too tight for Sadler right now. Jamie McMurray finally has his race car a little bit tighter. They've been struggling with a loose car all night long. Started at the back in a backup car. Tried the high line for a little while, and the car finally working better for Jamie. Sterling Marlin continuing his nice run. Car really tight on exit. Sterling has 3 top 11 finishes in his last 5 Lowe's Motor Speedway races, doing very well this evening. Joe Nemechek still trying to recover from leaving a left rear lug nut off earlier. He said it's a little harder back here in this traffic than it was when we were up front. Car a little bit loose for Joe. Matt?
Jimmy Spencer having a very solid night. They last pitted on lap 225, took 4 tires, a wedge adjustment. The car, it's the best it has been all night, Jimmy says. Meanwhile, Tony Stewart, he's gone back and forth. He was horribly loose earlier in the race. Now he says the car is too tight off turn 4, not too bad off 2. He can still get to the bottom, but when he does, it's just too free, Bill.
Matt, the 17 car of Matt Kenseth running in the 17th position. Would like to get his lap back. Disappointing run for these guys so far. They've had a lot of trouble here. Came in 7th in the chase for the Cup. They're going to need some help if they want to stay in that chase after tonight.
The good news for Matt is he's the only car 1 lap down.
So he will get the lucky dog if the caution comes out.
Right. If he's lucky enough for a caution to come out, he will get back on the lead lap and have a chance to get some spots by the finish. Points as they run. Kurt Busch having a great night. It's not just a good night anymore. It's a great night.
It's fantastic night because he goes from losing the points lead to actually gaining.
And the rest of the top 10, Jeremy Mayfield having a terrible night.
And look at this, Mark Martin, the 6 car. Once again, the longer they get into the run, the faster he becomes versus the competition.
So Mark goes to 3rd place. Kurt Busch back to 4th. Still a great night, considering he was wrecked in the first corner of the race. Not bad. All right, we're looking toward that final pit stop now. Wally and Benny, you're on the radio with your crew chief. The track conditions have been changing like a moving target all night. You got that one crucial adjustment left, especially if you're these guys, to try and help you win the race. How does that process go?
Yeah, I mean, you definitely want to make the car better. The only problem is if you pit under green, you don't have a lot of time to make adjustments that you may want to make because you lose track position. So if it's green, maybe a tire, maybe some air pressure, maybe some wedge, but there's not a whole lot you can do.
Matt, what about the 9 car? What are they saying for Casey Kane?
BP still trying to improve on what is a near perfect race car. Tommy Baldwin telling Casey, think about your race car. We should pit sometime in the next 15 laps.
Kane last pitted at lap 211. So 271 to 281 will be the window there for Casey Kane. How about Ryan Newman, Dave?
Boy, almost exactly that, Alan. 270, their window opens. 280 is when they'd like to pit. There you go.
All right. And Ryan actually gaining a little ground on Casey Kane the last couple laps. Still a long way behind him, but he has chopped a little time off.
I tell you, some guy that wants to get in right there, 30 car, he wants to get in the pits bad. He is sideways off of turn 4 every lap.
So as soon as his window opens, he's in there. You're on pit road, huh, Dave?
Absolutely. He radioed into his crew. I can't repeat it. The car has really gone away.
Looks like he's going to get it.
Trouble, turn 2. Oh my goodness. Casey Kane, the race leader, has hit the wall.
Oh my gosh, my gosh. And we got crashes off turn 4.
Sterling Marlin and Kyle Busch.
Yeah. Well,
the fastest car
doesn't always win the race.
Doesn't always win the race. Casey Kane has led 207 of 267 laps tonight. His car has crashed and stopped off of the turn 2 exit, and he has hit the wall hard.
A ton. Let's see if we can see what in the world might have happened to Casey Kane.
I think we got a pretty good idea. Boom, there it goes. Well,
Right front tire.
Right front tire.
Man, oh man. Matt.
BP, his cousin Cole earlier said, looked like something broke. Tommy asked him, tire or does something break? He says, tire.
What a heartbreak. Now, what happened off turn 4?
2 guys started fighting. Well, actually, one just spun. That was Kyle Busch that just spun. And
Sterling hit the apron. When he hit the apron, it just shot the car sideways.
Let's go on board with Sterling Marlin, Palisade car. And
see if he doesn't get hit by Kyle Busch here.
No. Now watch, he goes down here.
He might.
Oh, yeah, he did.
Tell you what. How about that, John? Spin it around, keep going.
Well, they knew he was here tonight.
Son, I feel badly for you. That's what's happened this year is criminal. Someone ought to be arrested.
Now, you know what, though? If you're going to go out, that's the way to go out.
Leading the race.
Stomping everybody.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, he went out right at the 400-mile mark, and he led 300 miles.
Yeah, I mean, that was a very, very strong effort.
Yeah, it should be a 400-mile race, right? At 267, he'd have been.
All right, now 66. It'll be 65 to go, and this changes the picture of the whole thing.
Boy, does it ever, Bill.
Jimmie Johnson's car is just too tight. They're going to try and loosen it up. They also worked with the 88 in front of him, trying to get him to pull up a little bit so Johnson wouldn't lose time getting out of his pit. Around to the left side on the 48, Johnson trying for the sweep here at the Lowe's Motor Speedway in 2004. Marty.
Mark Martin, middle of your screen, just a touch tight, half round of wedge out of the left rear. They want to take a pound on the right front tire. Jack Roush said, don't do it. We've had tire problems, Matt.
Kurt Busch still tight in the 97 car. Jimmie Finnick shuffled couple of the air pressures in the left front and the right rear, Dave.
Just a tick tight for Ryan Newman. Full of fuel, wedge adjustment off pit road.
Mark Martin. How about that? And Michael Waltrip looked like he's going to come off third.
And I'll tell you, Mark Martin's crew got him there. That was a great pit stop from those guys.
Man, was it ever?
Ryan Newman losing a little ground in the pit stop. He came in as the leader after Kane crashed.
Kurt Busch goes out second. Michael Waltrip.
Michael, third spot.
Oh, man. And Newman just barely beats the 8.
And remember we talked about Matt Kenseth. There's your lucky dog back on the lead lap. 65 laps to go here in Charlotte. Just past 400 miles of tonight's race, the action started turn 1, lap 1.
The 10 car could not get the car shifted. He started 4th, all the cars behind him jammed up. Kurt Busch, Nextel Cup point leader, had trouble. Jeff Gordon had trouble, involved in the crash.
Both have since come back onto the lead lap. Brian Vickers, watch this hit. It's big.
Watch him fly through the air. That was big.
Fortunately, he's okay. 12-minute red flag to repair the safer barrier, but the good news, Brian was just fine.
Jeff Gordon spins around, and Rusty Wallace, with nowhere to go, into the side of the 24, had to replace the radiator in the 2.
Rusty was running 5th at the time. Dale Jr., coming through on Ryan Newman. And that's Matt Kenseth, one of your championship contenders. Lost the right front, bounced off the wall in turn 3. Has just gotten back onto the lead lap on this caution. Story of the night has been Kasey Kahne in the 9 car. Led 207 of 267 laps.
See the 29 car, Kevin Harvick loses an engine down in turn 1. There is oil on the racetrack. The 19 car gets in it. Around he goes. Also the 17 car, Kenseth, spins.
Mayfield with big damage. He is in the garage and finishing 33rd. Close call for Junior.
A near crash. But here's the story. Kasey Kahne, a right front tire, goes flat into turn 1. And now we have a toss-up for this race.
Mark Martin is the new race leader. The restart is going to be with 62 laps to go. Kurt Busch second, Michael Waltrip third, Ryan Newman fourth, Dale Earnhardt Jr. fifth. And I don't know if I could pick a car out of all of these. Remember we talked about earlier, if you took
Mikey Waltrip goes into turn 1 and
who's that smoking?
Robbie Gordon. Looks like he's made contact with someone and knocked the fender on the tire.
Yep. Left front.
Yeah.
Big time.
He'll be coming to pit road.
Except he doesn't go slamming into the wall first.
So just to finish that thought, we talked earlier about if you took Kasey Kahne out of the race, all these other cars have been so evenly matched. Who knows what's going to happen?
And guess what? He's out of the race. Yeah. Man, look at that thing smoke. Ryan Newman, the 12 car, is the 3rd place car.
Boy, he'll be lucky if that doesn't cut.
Road, Robbie. Please bring that to pit road.
Your Kurt Busch, the 97 car, is closed in right on the back of Mark Martin.
And that's the race for the lead. Mark led earlier. Kurt has not, as far as collecting those 5 bonus points toward the championship for leading a lap. And if Kurt Busch can get out front and win this thing, what a rally that would be.
These guys are really scrambling right here.
Jimmie Johnson, the 48, tried to go 3 wide in turn 1, wisely backed up and went in 2 wide. There's a battle for it. It's at 3rd, 4th, 5th.
Yes, sir. And remember those 2 words Bill said earlier about if we get another caution?
Jeff Gordon
running 6th.
Man, what an unbelievable job that they have done tonight, Bill.
Now I got 3 words for you.
Yes.
Tight on fuel.
I think about everybody's going to be tight on fuel.
When you said 62 to go, Alan, that might have taken some of the guys out of the mix unless they get a couple more laps of caution flag.
3rd place.
That's looks like
smoke on that
coming
10,
out
12 car.
Or is that just coming from the front of Robbie Gordon in front of him, maybe?
It might have been the tire hitting the fender when he goes down the corner, but there was a lot of smoke on the 12.
Now Dale Jr. racing Ryan Newman for 4th place.
Can't believe Robbie Gordon hasn't stopped and he hasn't blown out. He's still going.
Matt?
BP, his spotter, Mike Dillon, keeps telling Robbie it's really not that bad. It's starting to go away. Keep staying out there.
Okay.
That's what I said. Okay.
It's easy for a spotter the race lead. Kurt Busch to the outside of Mark Martin in turn 4.
Man.
These guys want that championship, don't they?
Boy, they do.
What a rally. 5 bonus points for the championship for Kurt Busch. How about Mark Martin, Marty?
And remember, it takes a little while for Mark's car to come in. Kurt Busch asked if he could have the lead, and Pat Tryson said, make sure he gives it right back to us. Mark's car is better on the longer run. He didn't want many changes on the last stop. They, too, are tight on fuel. Matt?
And I just spoke with Jimmie Finnick, Kurt's crew chief. He says we are tight, but we should be good to go on fuel. What a night this team has had, BP. They have really rebounded in this points chase.
I tell you what, we've had so many great stories tonight. Kurt Busch, Jeff Gordon, struggling through adversity to be back up battling for the lead.
Matt Kenseth, I mean, they've had to fight through some problems. Here's the give back. So obviously that was a wade through earlier for Mark Martin. And Kurt's going to send him back on by.
It's good to have a teammate in a situation like that. Get those
And
5
remember
points.
that, sorry, Wally, remember how the 17, his teammate helped out the 97 earlier in the race after he was involved in that wreck.
That's right.
Both driving, all 3 driving for Jack Roush. So 54 laps to go. The calculators are flying, buzzing along down on pit road, wearing out the batteries where the fuel mileage numbers are concerned.
See, at Kansas last week on a mile-and-a-half racetrack, some of these cars struggled at 62, 63 laps. And tonight, they were putting more fuel in these cars because of the cold weather.
That is true. It is colder, and they have to do that. But the only thing is about this place is you're off the gas a little bit more than you would be at Kansas. Marty?
Casey Kane's come from the Infield Care Center. At some point, you've got to wonder what you've done wrong to deserve all this misfortune, Casey.
Yeah, I really don't know. We had a great race car. Dodge dealers, UAW Dodge was fastest thing, best car I've ever drove in my life. And it just happens. It wasn't our day again. I don't necessarily know why this happens, but you know, we'll keep trying. We're getting closer and closer, and I thought tonight was going to be the night, and it just didn't happen.
Had you previously had right front tire problems?
Well, I broke last night and went in the wall the same way, but I don't know. I don't think it was a tire last night. I'm not sure if it was a tire tonight. I don't know what happened. It just, the front end fell down, and we had a bad vibration before that, and it was going to break anyways. I think it was pretty bad.
Once again, Casey Kane has the dominant car. Once again, he will not finish the race.
He led 310.5 of 400 miles.
I would say that's dominant.
Yeah. But he's not going to finish.
I tell you what, these 2 guys don't look in your mirror because this 48 car, Jimmie Johnson, is coming quick.
And Ryan Newman just ran a pretty fast lap in 4th spot. He was the fastest car that lap. So I think they're going to have some company here in a minute.
Okay on gas, okay on gas.
There's the okay on gas for somebody.
Yeah. Mark Martin's team telling him he's fine on fuel.
Well, good. I'm glad this thing did not turn out to a fuel situation.
Napa Field summary. 8 different leaders tonight. The most important, Casey Kane, just told you the numbers on him, but most of the other guys that have led have been guys in the championship who've gotten those 5 bonus points at different times through the night. 10 cars out of the race. Again, most important, Casey Kane. How about Mark Martin? Marty?
You just heard Pat Tryson give Mark Martin the word. They are good on fuel, Allen. That does not include a green-white checkered finish, though.
Yeah.
I think half the field is probably in trouble if there's a green-white checkered finish.
Kurt Busch all of a sudden has tried a different line. He's moved up the racetrack because he was running in the same tracks Mark Martin was running in, was not gaining. So he's now moving around a little bit, trying to find some place on the racetrack he might be faster.
He also may be a little bit aero tight following Mark as well, and he's trying to look for that clean air.
We'll take you through how they got here to this point in the race. Mark Martin started 12th, did not lead till after long while in this race. Lap 216. Meanwhile, Kurt Busch took the green flag in 21st position, involved in a crash on lap 1, fell back to 38th place. He's rallied all the way up to 2nd. He has led a lap tonight for bonus points.
Jimmie Johnson, currently 3rd, has led 7 laps. At one point was 23rd. Bill?
And they have worked all night, Benny, to get the tight out of that race car. It looks like they may have done it. We'll have to see what happens at the end of the run. Jimmie talked about the car being tight on landing, and I assume that's because of all the bumps on this racetrack, especially in 3 and 4. Oh, as for fuel on the 48, crew chief Chad Canals kind of took his hands and put palms up to the sky like, we'll have to wait and see.
Here's another car that's fast right now.
Yep, 4th, pole sitter.
Ryan Newman led the opening 28 laps of the race before Casey Kane ever got out front.
He's been kind of back and forth today.
Yeah.
Been all over the top 10 a little bit. Dave?
Let's see, which is going forward, 4th or back? I guess 4th, huh? He is 4th now. Well, you said back and forth. That's what I was getting at.
Gotcha.
He's going forward. He's going to run these guys down because he was saving fuel. He radioed to his crew chief, Matt Borland. How are we on fuel? He said, give me a second. He radioed back. We are 1 lap to the good. And now I believe Ryan will move toward these guys. Guys, Marty?
Yeah, looks like has to fix that 48 car because, well, now he goes to the high side. But a couple laps earlier, riding along with him, he was right on the bottom, and it's hard to do if your car's really tight.
Oh, you got a good run at Kurt there, though, huh? It's one of the great things about this racetrack. You can move around the speedway and find an area where your car will work better.
And he just found it.
Yes, he did, as he goes into the 2nd spot. Well, guess what? There may be a sweep in his future.
Jeff Gordon.
Pipe Jr.
That's unbelievable.
It is unbelievable. What a job that Jeff Gordon has done. Robbie Loomis, that entire crew.
Those guys have worked on that car, and heck, we were ready to make that thing a show car.
Oh yeah, that's right. We're going. It's going to be in a Lowe's store next week somewhere.
And for 3rd place, Ryan Newman by Kurt Busch. As reported by Dave, the 12 car is going forward.
Yeah, Kurt may have picked up a little bit of a push there. The last few laps looked like he may have been struggling.
So Kurt falls back to the number 4 spot. Matt, what are they saying? Can they make it to the finish?
He's good to go to the finish, Alan. The problem that he has, the car just pushes too much when he gets behind somebody. He picks up an aero-tight condition. When he gets clean air, the car is pretty good.
Yeah, it looked like he was having a hard time staying on the bottom of the racetrack, Matt. So now he's in a little bit of clean air, but it's hard to pass cars when you're aero-tight.
Got a little piece of a side skirt dragging or something on the right side of that car.
Yeah.
Right in front of the right rear tire. I don't know if that's affected his handling any. See it there? Just it may even just be a piece of tape or something. But I stand by my statement earlier. This is going to be a great night for Kurt if he can get a top 5 finish out of this.
I'll tell you, Bill.
Yeah, it's just about Matt and his car, which is really starting to come back a little bit. We're actually talking to Robbie Reiser right now about their fuel mileage and whether or not they can make it. They're questionable about whether they can get to the end, but the lap times are good. So this could be a team that looks back at the end of the season and go, it's not what we gained at Charlotte, it's what we did not lose.
Yeah, excellent point. So Matt Kenseth rallying back up to 13th place now. Remember, involved in 2 different incidents so far tonight. Came back from a lap down, damage to the car, and he may sneak out a top 10 at the end of the night from this thing yet. Mark Martin announced earlier this weekend that 2005 would be his last full season of Nextel Cup competition. He wants a championship trophy. In his case, his storied career does not have one of those at the Nextel Cup level yet. Fighting Irish of Notre Dame back on NBC Sports next Saturday. They beat the big defensive stand to beat Stanford last week, and then the victory over the Naval Academy earlier today. And now it's perennial rival Boston College coming to South Bend, presented by Bristol Myers Squibb. Notre Dame Boston College next Saturday, 2:30 Eastern, 11:30 Pacific on NBC.
Mark, you got company.
Oh, here we go. Johnson for the lead, goes by Martin, put 48 in front.
33 laps to go. Jimmie Johnson taking the lead. Bill, they have worked on that car all night long.
They have, and some of that work comes after happy hour last night when crew chief Chad Knaus told Jimmie Johnson, well, we're good, but we're about a tenth and a half off of some of the other guys, including the 9. Jimmie said, I think I can drive it and make that up during the race. So today, Chad Knaus put a setup in that car that would allow his driver down the stretch to drive it more aggressively. 48 to the front.
Jimmie Johnson looking for the season sweep here at Lowe's Motor Speedway. Won the Coca-Cola 600 back Memorial Weekend. In fact, he's won the 600 the last 2 Memorial weekends. And his record here at this racetrack, his first race he ever ran here, finished 39th. Didn't have a good day. Since then, 7th, 6th, 1st, 3rd, 1st.
That's pretty good.
Like that? All right, down to the final laps. Who can make it? Who can't? What's the thinking down on pit road? We go through the field, starting with the leader in Bill Weber.
Well, as far as Jimmie Johnson is concerned, again, what crew chief Chad Knaus told me is he's not certain, but he guards his cards pretty closely. I believe that 48 should be able to make it. That would give him the sweep at Charlotte, Marty.
Bill, Mark Martin driving his favorite car. This car has done everything but win. Its best ever finished 2nd at Dover. He would love to put it in victory lane tonight and try and stamp his way to New York and the Nextel Cup. Dave?
Ryan Newman still going forward. The car is good right now, according to the driver. Back to his crew. He'll try to make up ground on the 6. Matt?
Dave, as much as Kansas was an important race for Dale Earnhardt Jr., this was an important race for the championship leader, Kurt Busch. He had never finished better than 11th here. They tested, had a decent weekend, dodged a few bullets, and Bill, they are running in the top 5.
Matt, it's going to be interesting to see if the 24 team brings this car out again this year. Had trouble with it here in May, finished 30th. Took it to Chicago, struggled all day, then roared forward to finish 4th. Jeff Gordon has come from nowhere to look at a top 5 finish tonight, Dave.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. restarted in the 6th position and has gone nowhere. Has not given much feedback to his crew, and now they think maybe the radio is not working, and that's why they haven't heard from him. So they don't know if they have a problem or not at this point. 15 of Michael Waltrip restarted 3rd and has gone backwards. I believe the car has gone away on the handling. Might be tight again. That's the problem they've been fighting all night long. Bill?
Dale Jarrett with 6 top 5 finishes and 13 top 10s, and down the stretch, he and his team are committed to strong runs. They've worked on this car all night. They are in the top 10, Marty.
Bill, here in May, Jamie McMurray finished 4th tonight. He is in a 9th position after starting dead last on the field. His car is too tight in traffic. Elliott Sadler in that 38 car behind McMurray for the 2nd time tonight. He came on the radio, said, guys, it's the worst it's been. Way too tight for the 4th place man in the championship. Dave?
When this car was here in May, it was driven by Johnny Sauter, and it was crashed. He did not finish the race. Jeff Burton's done a great job, restarted 12th, and has moved up 1 position since the last restart. Bill?
Here's another story you'll be reading about tomorrow. The headline tonight, Matt Kenseth all the way up to 12th. After a night on the track they would like to forget. Matt trying to save points and stay in the chase, Marty.
Bill, last week's winner at Kansas, Joe Nemechek, in 13th. He said, it's tight, get us loose. When they tested here last Monday, he ran over 700 miles. It took him 12 hours to do it, but it certainly helped them this evening. Sterling Marlin continues his very solid run from 31st up to the 14th position. Car really tight on exit for Sterling, having a tough time getting it to turn off of the corners. Matt?
Tony Stewart was 173 points out of 1st. He needed to make his move tonight. He hasn't called it evil, but this car has reacted like evil. It has been horrendously loose and then back on the tight side. Meanwhile, Jimmy Spencer having a very solid run tonight. The car, though, loose on this set of tires. Now 4 car. He is not happy with them. Trying to hang on. His best finish this year, Alan, 17th at Dover.
I've been very impressed with the job Jimmy and this team have done tonight. About to go a lap down to leader Jimmie Johnson, but this is an underdog team, underfunded team. They've had their troubles this year, but boy, they've run well tonight.
Yeah, they've been very good all night long. They stayed on the lead lap right there.
Yep, 24 to
the
go.
Race, yeah.
But meanwhile, right behind the leader, Jimmie Johnson, we got a great battle for the 2nd position between Mark Martin in 6, Ryan Newman in 12. And they're also getting closer to Jimmie Johnson.
They just have to wonder where the fuel mileage is at for some of these guys. I can't believe it's that close that they're racing this hard.
But I'm also concerned about the right front tire. Casey Kane had run 58 laps when he had a problem. The 19 and 7.
Trouble right in front of these drivers. Who's in it? Can Martin get a piece of it?
Oh, there goes Kurt Busch flying through the grass. Woo! Hang on, Kurt. Good job. That's hard to do.
Wow.
Driving through the grass at 170 miles per hour.
So how big a piece of that did Ryan Newman and Mark Martin get?
Oh, man.
Check out the pavement.
Big enough.
Big
enough is right.
22 laps to go, racing for second place.
And you could see Ryan Newman was right on Mark Martin's right rear. I bet you he took the air off the spoiler.
Damage to both front fenders. Looks like the left rear as well.
They got every corner but the left rear.
I guess the left rear isn't banged up, just the front.
All right, now, some of these other guys that don't have the crash damage. Do you pit here, take on fresh tires?
And Newman was just up on. Oh, that started in front of him. Oh, man. Oh, talk about that bad luck, BP. Look at Kurt Busch. That is hard to do. I mean, normally when you hit the grass, it's like hitting ice. He did a good job. Just kept the steering wheel straight, let the car slow down, and finally get to the pavement.
Here they come, Bill.
The 48 car of Jimmie Johnson on pit road. They put on right side tires. Now it is a 4-tire stop. They talked about doing fuel only, but a 4-tire stop for Johnson, Marty.
Right front and left front fender damage for Mark Martin, who clearly had a top 5 car tonight. He said the steering wheel is turned to the right. They'll have to make many stops, Matt.
Marty, 4-tire change for Kurt Busch. No adjustments. What a night he has had. What a weekend he's had. Dave.
Damage control for Ryan Newman. The left front fender was pulled out. They worked on the right side as well. 4 tires, no chassis changes on the 12. Marty.
Dave, very calmly, Mark Martin said, let's stay here. Let's fix the fenders now. They take all 4 tires. It is towed out in the left front for Mark Martin. He said, I can live with it till the end of this race, but obviously a lot of fender damage for the 16.
Got a new leader.
Nemechek take the gamble.
Took the gamble.
Took the gamble. Took 2.
So lots of work to be done to Mark Martin's car to get him back out on the track. Try and salvage something out of this night.
Let's see what might have happened between the 77 of Brendan Gaughan and the 4 of Jimmy Spencer.
Well, it looks like Brendan Gaughan just got out of the throttle, and Jimmy Spencer just ran in the back of me. He had no place to go.
That's right.
You think he could have been going to pit road?
Well, if he was going to miss it.
Yeah, he was, because
he was going way too fast.
He was past it. You know, in the 77 car, those guys told me that that yellow Jasper car has never finished a race.
Well.
And once again, they almost did.
Time to paint it green or something then, huh?
Mm-hmm. See, Newman in the 12 car is going to try to make the move on Mark Martin, and about this time, tell you what, Ryan Newman made good contact with that outside retaining wall, didn't he? With that right front.
And Kurt with the Yahoo ride.
Yes, sir. I guarantee his eyeballs were wide open. There he is, sliding through the grass.
Major e-ticket there.
Well, that's unfortunately he didn't bounce. The car didn't bounce and mess up the front valence. That happens a lot when you get in the grass.
On board the Mark Martin as he looks back at Ryan Newman.
Keep going.
You know, and the 77 car is still on the racetrack, so I guess I eliminated him, but that's not the case. He's still out there.
It's the top of the street. Come on.
It just depends. I mean, you know, they're doing a good job on the body, but it just depends on the suspension. If the suspension's hurt, then they're in trouble, Marty. Marty?
Yeah, BP, or Wally, that's the question. Mark did say it. He came on the radio at first and said it doesn't drive that bad. And he said, wait, it does drive bad. It is towed out on the left. Mark said, again, I can live with it. They pop riveted on and taped on a left front fender valence. They're going to probably bring him in one more time, make at least one more repair to the right front fender, which they have not done yet.
They may be able to fix the toe a little bit. And the good thing about it is if you're on new tires, you can hide the problem for a little while.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, that's just so bad. That's so bad.
Well, said it, what, a few hours ago now at the top of the broadcast, what kind of trouble was going to fall on the championship contenders tonight? We have seen some.
Jeff Gordon is sitting in third right now.
Yeah. Would you believe?
What did Bill Weber say? 2 words for us. Jeff Gordon. Right, Bill?
Unbelievable.
Thank you, BP.
Yeah.
How about Jimmie Johnson, Bill?
Could end up being a great night for Hendrick Motorsports. The 48 of Jimmie Johnson in second. He has been good on the track because his guys have worked on it all night in the pits. And here are the guys that may have just helped him win this race.
Chad Canals, crew chief, Rockford, Illinois.
Ryan McRae, front tire carrier, San Bernardino, California.
Corey Quick, front tire changer, Valls, Missouri.
Chris Anderson, Jackman, Tampa, Florida.
Ron Malik, rear tire carrier, Franklin, Wisconsin.
Shane Parsnell, rear tire changer, Oswego, New York.
Jim Pollard, gasman, High Point, North Carolina.
Mike Knauer, catch can, Cambridge, Maryland.
Matt Clark, pit crew coach, North Haven, Connecticut.
And Chad Canals, the pit crew, the crew chief, his mom and dad are here this weekend.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, so that would be big to get those guys in victory lane because they said they very seldom get to go to races.
Look at that, 8 pit stops tonight, average 14.1 seconds. That's excellent. That's average. Not bad.
All right, what's Nemechek going to be able to do with those 2 tires versus 4 tires right behind him?
Restart's going to be with 17 to go. And it's going to be interesting.
I just think 4 tires is always better here.
Well, you're going to have lap cars to the inside of Nemechek. He's out there with just 2 right side tires. Jimmie Johnson with Jeff Gordon behind him.
And 4 fresh ones.
Who knows what's going to happen. And then next Sunday, Martinsville, Virginia. Final short track race of the season for the NASCAR Next Level Cup Series. Actually got a doubleheader of short track racing for you. NASCAR Busch Series racing from Memphis. Saturday, TNT presented by Propane. That's 3:30 Eastern Time. Then next Sunday, the Subway 500. From Martinsville Speedway, we start with Discover Card Countdown to Green at 12:30 Eastern. Next weekend, right now we got the final 17 laps of this one to run. We've got 15 cars on the lead lap. That includes Mark Martin, who has made a couple of repairs, has rejoined the tail end of the field, but still on the lead lap. Will it be Joe Nemechek? Will the 2-tire strategy pay off? Can Jimmie Johnson get around him? Can Jeff Gordon or Dale Jr. insert themselves into the mix for the trip to victory lane?
Joe needs a really good restart here. Needs to try to get away from that 48. Got a good restart.
But unfortunately, the 48 also got a good restart. Watch those 4 fresh tires.
Yeah.
You wanted to say see you, but
I'm still going to say it.
Okay.
Right here when he hits the bumps, that's when the 48 car will make the move.
Here comes Jeff Gordon with him. Johnson the leader by a fender, Bill.
I just passed Gordon's car owner, Rick Hendrick, here in the 24 pits. I said, this is a wild sport. He goes, this is amazing. He goes, about 2 hours ago, I wouldn't have given you a plug nickel for that 24 car.
Turn 2, Bill, trouble. Michael Waltrip was running 11th. Caution flag is out.
Man, it's not real.
He's hit the right rear pretty hard.
Yeah.
Mostly right side damage, right front damage. We're coming onto pit road.
So what else is going to happen?
Man.
Boy, yeah, I guess mostly right side damage.
Yeah. And then some.
You've got to say a lot of right side damage.
But he may be able to hang on to the lead lap. Or on the lead lap.
But it's not going to be fun.
No, it's not going to be fun, but he's got, I don't know, 10, 11 laps. He may be able to hang on to it.
That's too bad for Michael. He had a good competitive run all night long. And
good run going.
Let's see if we can see what might have happened to Michael Waltrip up in the corner. Here he goes in the corner.
He got loose. Got loose right when he got on the throttle and he went to save it.
That's
And he saved it, but unfortunately he needed a lot of racetrack to do it, and he bounced off the wall.
I think the wall had a big hand in saving it.
Well, Jimmie Johnson got the lead, Bill, before the caution.
He sure did. Great work by the crew here on pit road with crew chief Chad Knaus. Your car obviously better than it was earlier in the evening.
Really, it's about the same. We just, you know, we've had a good race car all night long. Lowe's Chevrolet's just been running really strong. You know, the 9 car was definitely the best car in the car to beat tonight. It's unfortunate they had that problem. I hate it for Ray, but I like it for these guys. They put a lot of hard work into it. We've had a pretty tough couple of months. If we can roll out of here with the top 5 and maybe the victory, it would be a good momentum builder for us, especially leading into Martinsville.
All right, and his folks watching. Marty.
Bill Joe Nemechek with the 2 tires, now in third. Ryan Pemberton, still a good gamble?
Yeah, we had to do something. We lost track position a couple 150 laps or so ago. We let the wheel loose, and we had to pit again, and we lost track position. And the car's a good car. It's not a great car, again, because we had to do something to try to get up front. These caution laps are going to help us here.
And Ryan said if we finish in the top 5, it's worth the gamble, Dave.
With Tony Uri Sr. now. Tony, it seems like he's been having some trouble with the car. Have you guys figured out what it is?
The exhaust system's broke up underneath the car somewhere, and he says it's lost a little bit of power. It don't have quite the power it's got, but it shouldn't have lost over 2 or 3, no matter what happened under there. It's got a funny sound to it, but the car's been tightening up. We were fighting loose the first 3 or 4 stops of the night, and then all of a sudden the car just got tight for some reason and can't get it freed up. So we've been scared to death we're going to go back too far, so we've just been trying to ease up on it, but we still haven't got it freed up enough. So hopefully we can get a good finish out of this.
All right, thanks, Tony. Bill?
I ran from the 48 pit crew to the 24 pit crew to interview Robbie Loomis, and the crew stopped me outside the pit box. They said, no way. So I said, Robbie, can we talk? And he goes, just smiles. And I said, okay, and gave me a thumbs up. So I can't get there. We'll see what happens, Matt.
Well, Jimmie Finnick, your man is in 6th, and you guys have just about seen it all tonight.
I'll tell you one thing, you know, we missed everything. You know, Kurt just says he just missed the kitchen sink back there. Let's just hope we get to the end there and maybe pick up some spots here.
Big points night for this driver. Best finish here, 11th, currently in the 6th position. We get ready for the restart.
Jimmie Johnson, the race leader, heard his crew chief Chad Knaus talk about reestablishing momentum after some of the troubles that they've had the last couple of weeks in this chase for the Nextel Cup.
It has not been pretty. These guys of Talladega, he makes contact with the 9 car, messes up the ductwork, loses an engine last week at Kansas.
Yep, he got involved in that wreck on the backstretch with Kurt Busch, and then he finished it off.
Yeah.
Didn't hit anything the first time, but this time he did it in.
So finished 37th at Talladega, 32nd at Kansas, and it dropped Jimmie Johnson to 9th place in the chase for the Nextel Cup. 247 points out of the lead. How about Ryan Newman, Dave?
The pole sitter is in trouble, Alan. He radioed to his crew. This thing's really messed up, and they radioed back. Do the best you can. Weber?
The 17 of Matt Kenseth may have a fender rub, contact with the 15 car.
Boy.
Man, other than that, everything's okay.
I mean, the 12 car hit the wall awfully hard off turn 4, so he's going to be lucky to run around here at any kind of speed at all.
Restart with 12 to go. Keep an eye on Jeff Gordon. When the victory is this close to his grasp, he seems to find a way. Nemechek having all kinds of troubles.
Called grip. Lack of.
Dale Jr. kind of hung up behind him. Newman pinned in behind some lap cars. That's the race for 3rd you're looking at. Nemechek and Earnhardt Jr.
There goes Jr. on the inside. Almost couldn't quite do it. That 0-1 car goes down the straightaway.
Yes, it does.
Some of that Hendrick horsepower. The Junior finally moves into 3rd.
And you see Gordon hanging with Jimmie Johnson.
Kurt Busch has been able to get by Ryan Newman, take over the 5th spot.
There's 1st and 2nd. White car is Junior in 3rd. And now Kurt Busch running in 4th.
I said 3rd and 4th.
Yeah, Dale Jarrett. trying to move in behind Kurt Busch. There you see Kurt Busch, and then you see Dale Jarrett right there at the bottom of the screen.
I'll correct the both of us, BP. Kurt's in 5th. Joe Nemechek is still in 4th. Okay.
Dale Jarrett.
What a drive for Dale Jarrett. Started way back in 39th place. He's up in 6th now. Good night for the big brown truck.
We're running out of laps. Jeff Gordon is going to make a move on Johnson. He better hurry.
Dale Jarrett not one of those chasing the championship, still trying to gain every point that he can in that fight for the near $1 million pot for the 11th place finisher.
Jimmie Johnson just ran his fastest lap
of the night. Yeah. On lap 325.
8 laps to go. Moved away from Jeff Gordon by about 8 car lengths.
That is unbelievable.
When you look around at the 10 drivers competing in the chase for the Nextel Cup, despite all the troubles that they've had here tonight, 9 of the 10 will finish 14th or better. Jeremy Mayfield, the only one who is going to struggle to a 30th place finish tonight. After involved in the accident, a couple of incidents actually for Mayfield, it's going to leave him about 49 laps down at the end of this one. Everybody else has just rallied.
Yeah. And this guy is flying right now. Jimmie Johnson to the bottom. 0.2 of a second faster than Jeff Gordon that last lap. Bill?
Car owner Rick Hendrick has 2 cars running first and second. Johnson in first and the 24 of Gordon. Their pits are about 11 pit stalls apart, but he's watching on our pit road monitor because he said he wanted to find a neutral site on pit road, rooting for both cars to win.
20th anniversary of the formation of the Hendrick Motorsports team, and what accomplishments that man has had in this sport. Rick Hendrick.
In just 20 short years. You're right. Oh, Kurt Busch just hit the wall off turn 4. Oh, man. Just brushed it like he did yesterday.
Yeah. I don't see too much damage there, so.
Hangs on to 5th place.
He's looking up in the mirror.
I guess he didn't hit it as hard as he did yesterday. No. He's slowing down.
Right now he's hanging on to the lead in the chase for the Nextel Cup. There'll be 5 races to go after tonight. Jimmie Johnson with a big hole to dig out of after those problems we showed you of the last 2 weeks, trying to pick up maximum points tonight. He'll almost do that. He won't get the points for leading the most laps, but he'll get the points for winning the race.
Kurt Busch wants by Joe Nemechek right there.
He really does. I thought he had hit the wall. Evidently he just leaned up against it off turn 4.
That's worth 5 points.
Absolutely.
If he can pass Nemechek for 4th. The way the championship system works.
He's got Earnhardt in front of him, so he's trying to close that gap. Got room there.
And Joe Nemechek, obviously the 0-1 car, does not want the 97 to go by and try and do anything he can to keep him back there.
Been a great few weeks for Nemechek and that 0-1 team, even though the tire gamble hasn't paid off in a win tonight. Looking at a potential top 5 finish. It'll be their 4th top 10 in the last 5 weeks if they're able to pull it off.
And those guys had a lot of good runs going this year and just haven't been able to finalize the deal. I mean, they have been competitive all year.
Less than 2 laps to go. White flag will be waiting for Jimmie Johnson when he comes back around.
Kurt Busch finally gets by Nemechek to take over the 4th position.
Jimmie Johnson, 29-year-old from El Cajon, California, came into the chase for the Nextel Cup after leading the championship for a lot of the season, kind of stumbling when they came into it. 4 of the 6 races before this final 10-race chase, Johnson finished 30th or worse. He's now less than a lap from the checkered flag tonight and a sweep of the season's races here at Lowe's Motor Speedway. Last man to do it at this racetrack, Dale Earnhardt, 1986.
That last lap's a long lap.
So what is winning before friends and family meet? That was it. Jimmie Johnson wins the UAW GM Quality 500, 1.7 seconds over Jeff Gordon. Jimmie Johnson back with his momentum in his championship bid in 2004.
Jeff Gordon stopping, congratulating. And Ern Jr.'s running into him.
And the old congratulatory donut. 5th win of the season for Johnson, 3rd here at Lowe's Motor Speedway. And let's hear from his crew chief, Marty.
We'll talk about your chase to the Cup medicine for Jimmie Johnson and Chad Knaus. If only they ran all 10 of these chase races at the Lowe's Motor Speedway, you'd be in really good shape, Chad.
Yeah, we're real happy with the way this car performed tonight. You know, we had a good car. We had to go back in our setups a little bit. Last night I was reading notes from 2002. So, you know, I'm really proud of Jimmie. He's just incredible here. And these guys did a great job. Great pit stops. It was a great day, dream day.
It's that hard work that pays off and gets Jimmie Johnson to victory lane.
And Jimmie's victory clinching the Manufacturers Championship for 2004 for Chevrolet. Congratulates Jimmie and the number 48 Monte Carlo on their big win. No cars dominated Cup racing like the defending and now once again Manufacturers Champion Chevrolet in American Revolution.
He must be getting dizzy going around all those circles.
So Jimmie ties Jeff Gordon and Dale Earnhardt Jr. for most wins this season. And while we wait for Jimmie to come around so we can talk to him, here's how they ran tonight at Charlotte. The, of course, championship contenders in the yellow, and they finished fairly well on the night. A little rally for Tony Stewart to get 10th.
Yeah. Jeff Burton had a good run, too, at 9th.
And Mark Martin and Ryan Newman, after that crash off turn 4, will finish 13th and 14th.
And you know what? I thought Michael was going to be able to hang in there and finish this thing, but he pulled his car behind the wall and wound up 28th.
Bad night for Jeremy Mayfield, 30th place. Championship hopes pretty well done. Casey Kane dominated the race. Did not have a good finish, wound up 32nd. And let's go downstairs. Dave?
With Jeff Gordon, not someone who we thought we'd be talking to in 2nd place. Jeff, what an unbelievable comeback.
Unbelievable. I tell you, that's why this team is just so incredible. I love these guys, and I tell you, I'm just, that's the first one, too, that me and Jimmie have had. I believe that we really had to battle. I got a fender underneath him before that last restart. After that last restart, my car got tight. He was gone. But I'm just so proud of these guys on this DuPont Chevrolet. Got to thank DuPont, you know, Pepsi, GMAC, Lay's, Quaker State. I mean, it's just an awesome day for us. I don't know what in the world happened at the beginning, but we were junk, and car was just so loose I couldn't drive it. We went a lap down. I spun out. Got hit by Rusty. I hated it for Rusty, and you know, we just tightened the car up, and man, all of a sudden that thing just came to life, and just incredible effort. Everybody stayed so calm, and that's what makes a championship team. And we didn't gain a lot of points today, but we were going to lose a lot before that all happened. But I want to congratulate Jimmie Johnson. Great job, man. He's a great race car driver.
Great recovery for Jeff Gordon. Marty?
Well, Dave, I'm wondering what Kurt Busch did not go through tonight. Let's look in your car for the horseshoe. Is there anywhere in there?
I didn't run over the kitchen sink on the back straightaway.
Good job.
Awesome job. I really don't know what to say except for that this is our best finish ever at Charlotte. And to be able to do this with dodging so many obstacles. It was the adventure of Kurt Busch and team today. The Irwin team did a great job. And it's just a matter of just every pit stop trying to understand what to change and what was going to happen next, and we did a good job just avoiding disaster as many times as it did strike today.
Certainly seems that things are going their way, Matt.
Mark, I know you're frustrated. What an unbelievable night. A great race car, and then give us your perception of what happened.
You saw it. You know, be hard for me to believe that some of these guys could pass a driver's test. I can't believe they got driver's license.
Is this going to be the shot that knocks you out of the chase, Mark, or do you feel like this team is still alive?
I don't know. Golly, we did everything we could do here. Gave it a great run for the whole team. I can't help it. You know, I can't help it.
Oh, it's just heartbreaking to hear Mark there, the emotion.
Oh, man. I mean, he had a chance to be the NASCAR Nextel Cup champion. It might be gone.
Dave?
Let's check in with Dale Earnhardt Jr., his car being rolled away. Now, you battled quite a bit tonight, but ended up 3rd. How's that feel?
That feels good. We battled hard. Had the exhaust pipe, the center section exhaust pipe blew out, and lost a lot of power down the straightaway. It was the best motor on the racetrack till that happened. Then it was about like everybody else. But
lost your radio too?
My radio went dead. We had a good night though. We raced hard. I kept on saying I'm pushing, but don't loosen me up too much. And I just got to let them do what they got to do, and we'd have been right. We were good in the middle part of the race, running second to Casey. He broke, and I think we had the car to win at that point, but I wouldn't let him free the car up as the track got tighter, and I just got to let them do that. You know, we had to make some adjustments there at the end. We got lucky for that caution. We was not going to finish in the top 5, but great day from the pits. Had a good car and real happy.
No win yet at Charlotte, but 3rd place tonight. Bill?
Jimmie Johnson back in victory lane at the Lowe's Motor Speedway for the 2nd time this season. It's the Charlotte sweep for Johnson, and the Lowe's team celebrates at the Lowe's Motor Speedway. Big drink for you. Congratulations. How was that car early in the race?
It was good. You know, I think we had probably the 2nd or 3rd best car through the beginning of the race, and as the race went on, we made the right adjustments. The 9 car was class of the field, but something happened with him, and then we just picked up and did what we needed to do. What a way to come back and kind of right the ship after the bad luck that we've had. To come back to Lowe's Motor Speedway, win with the Lowe's Monte Carlo. I just can't say enough. And these guys behind me up there, those are the boys. Hey! Come on,
They had great stops for you tonight, and your car was a little tight. You worked on that.
Yeah, we worked on a lot of things. Those guys, through the last couple months that have been hard for us, they never quit. Hey, boss.
Car owner Rick Hendrick.
Okay, good, thank you. They just never give up, and it's been awesome. It's awesome to rebound back like this, and who knows how the championship will turn out, but it's been a lot of hard work and dedication from everyone at Hendrick Motorsports, and we'll be back.
Enjoy the sweep.
Thank you.
Yes!
So let's check the championship standings. After tonight's race, Kurt Busch with a 24-point lead on Dale Earnhardt Jr. None of the top 7 positions changing hands.
No, but Jimmie Johnson, he didn't gain a whole lot, but boy, he made up a lot of ground. You know, I mean, that was a big help for those guys point-wise.
Big momentum swing tonight in the favor of the 48. And 5 races to go. So next weekend, it's on to some short track racing. Saturday, 3:30 Eastern on TNT. NASCAR Busch Series Racing from Memphis, presented by Propane. And then next Sunday, NBC 12:30 Eastern, the Subway 500. From the Martinsville Speedway, we start with Discover Kart Countdown to Green. Except on the West Coast, late local news is next, followed by Saturday Night Live. See ya.